Wildcat Football 1992. Brought to you by Johnson Brothers Ford, King's Daughters Hospital, Cafe on the Square in Georgetown, Harper Talosic Funeral Home, and Jim Tranum GMC Trucks.
Tonight from windy Wildcat Stadium in Temple, Texas, Bob McQueen's #1 ranked Temple Wildcats take on the Waco Lions in a critical District 13 5A matchup. Hello, everybody. I'm Cliff Brown, along with Gordon Marshall and Mark Germstead, and we're delighted to be bringing you this edition of Texas High School Football 1992. Well, it's the beginning of district competition when all things count and all things go toward a possible state championship. The Temple Wildcats come into this game 5-0. The Waco Lions come in with a record of 3-1, but toss out all the records because this game is for revenge and blood. And, Gordon, this is one of them that annually produces fireworks every year.
It's been a great rivalry so far, but let's take just a minute and get a little bit different perspective on this game. You've got to go back to 1986 for the last time that Temple has beaten Waco, period. Since then, 5 years, it's been all Waco, beating Temple by an average of over 17 points a game. They have a lot to prove tonight. Temple has an intangible mountain to overcome tonight in beating a very talented Waco team. However, this year is a little bit different. It's two big heavyweights slugging it out this year. Temple has a fine team, and Waco does too. It ought to be a lot of fireworks tonight.
Now, Mark, experts around the state say that on paper the Temple Wildcats should have not really a hard time tonight because they face far more competitive competition and stiffer opponents. But that's not necessarily the case, is it?
No, Cliff, it's not. Waco has a fine football team, and the Wildcats, from a rushing defense perspective, are going to have to play extremely well. Waco can run the ball very well. Also, Waco has great special teams, so the Wildcats defensively on special teams are going to have to play a great game. Waco has returned 3 kickoffs for touchdowns this year, so it's going to be a test of defense, kicking game, and, of course, the offense is going to have to come through and play well also.
Okay, now, what has Coach Bob McQueen's team got to do to shut down the Waco Lions?
Well, I think the interior front 7 of the defense is going to have to handle Waco's offensive line. Waco's offensive line is the most experienced part of their football team, so it's going to be a real challenge. Their tailback is outstanding. He's leading the district in rushing, and he's going to come right after Wildcats. So I think the Wildcats are going to have to get ready on defense, and also they have the ability to throw a little bit, so you can't forget about the secondary. The secondary is going to have to play well also.
Now, the 6 weeks just ended, Gordon, and some of the good news factors involved in this game is that Coach McQueen did not lose a single player throughout his entire varsity and junior varsity to academic failure.
You know, that's an outstanding accomplishment, and that's certainly a compliment, and hats off to the Wildcat coaching staff for keeping everybody focused not only on #1 ranking, but a classroom competition also.
Now, let's talk just a little bit about the crowd atmosphere. A lot of blue and white here tonight, and I know that Waco has brought a standing room only crowd. We'll probably have a crowd in excess of 10,000, and that's got to be a big factor, and you know Coach Bob McQueen likes that.
I know he does, and I know he's probably getting used to it, too. This has been an unbelievable season. We've had big games after big game. This is just another big game and a wonderful season so far, and I know the Wildcats are looking forward to getting district started off on a good note tonight.
Well, there's no doubt about it. We're going to have 4 quarters of action-packed football. We'll be down on the field for the opening kickoff right after this.
It's taken nearly 80 years for the automobile industry to create one of the most frustrating experiences of a lifetime, buying a new car, and only a couple of months for Johnson Brothers Ford to change it. It's gone from an annoying game of wondering what the dealer is really willing to sell the car for, to walking the lot, seeing the discounted prices on the windshield, picking your color and options, and taking it home knowing you got the same great price as your neighbor. It's called one pricing, and it'll change the way you think about buying a new car, and only Johnson Brothers Ford has it.
This week, the recipient of the First National Bank of Temple's Golden Wildcat Award, an award that First National Bank sponsors each and every week for a deserving member of the community, goes to the Temple High School principal, Bill Lawson. And, Bill, we congratulate you on this. I want you to read this certificate, and it will give us an idea of what it's all about.
Sounds great. The First National Bank of Temple Golden Wildcat Award presented to Bill Lawson, 9th day of October, 1992, for being recognized as an extraordinary individual within the Temple Independent School District in the city of Temple. This outstanding citizen has contributed extra efforts in the area of personal betterment and has furthermore greatly contributed to the improvement of the educational environment in Temple, Texas. find Jack Reeves, Temple ISD superintendent, and Sam Farrow, First National Bank of Temple.
Well, we congratulate you. We want to talk a little bit about Temple High School. You've got a lot going on this year. It's been a tremendous year so far in athletics. Let's talk a little bit about academics. You got some super programs.
Yes, we do. This is one of those years that educators dream about, and we're having one. Not only are our athletics top-notch in every area, our academics are off to a great start. We have, our 3 National Merit semifinalists we just heard about a couple weeks ago are committed students in the National Merit competition. I think we had 6 of those, so that's quite a high number when you're looking at a school this size. We've got our academic competition, our brainstorm competition coming up here in about 3 weeks. Have a record number of kids involved in that, and they're going to be competing to see who is our all-star team that goes on from there. And of course, that team has won the area championship for the last 3 or 4 years, and we've been invited to go to the national championship for the last 2 years and done well there.
All right, wait a minute. I'm going to stop you, and I'm going to say one thing. One of the things that makes Temple High School great is the volunteer efforts of a lot of people from outside of the community. Tell us a little bit about that.
We have a super group of folks that support us. Our booster clubs in all areas are tremendous, extremely supportive, not only with financial backing when we need some extra help there, but just the people support. They're here whenever we need them. Those groups are exceptionally fine. Our PTO is really a strong group this year. We have already parents in the schools working with their kids in the classrooms, working with their teachers. So, it's one of those things where it's just a community effort.
Well, we congratulate you on your Golden Wildcat Award, and we know that you're doing a super job because everybody tells us you are, and we wish you the very best of luck throughout the rest of this school year.
We appreciate it, and thanks for y'all's support and coverage. This is one of the nicest things that we've had going this year.
Thank you, Bill.
G. Willie's now has the most exciting game in Central Texas, QB1, the interactive TV game where you play along during live professional and college football games and can compete for valuable prizes nationally. Large portions of great food and a lively and entertaining atmosphere sure to please the entire family. G. Willie's with the largest big-screen TV in Central Texas and the only place you can play along with QB1, the interactive TV game. G. Willie's, just east of the Mall on the Loop, Temple.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to windy Wildcat Stadium on a beautiful October night as we begin District 13 5A competition with the Temple Wildcats hosting the Waco Lions. Cliff Brown, Mark Dermstead, Gordon Marshall here with you to bring you all the exciting action between 2 powerhouse Class 5A teams. Now, fellas, we talked about in our opening segment the atmosphere here, and Gordon, I know that you alluded to it, and Mark, you did too, about the intensity level. Let's talk about that just a minute.
Well, I think the intensity level for the fans, the players, and the coaches, everybody is going to be turned up just a notch at least for this ball game. This is a district opener. It means an awful lot as far as playoffs are concerned, plus the intangibles, the fact that the Wildcats haven't beaten Waco in a few years and would really like to win this game, as would the Waco Lions.
You know, the fact that the Wildcats have not won this game since 1986, that explains all the emotion and confidence of these Waco High Lions. Both players and coaches all week long just almost exuded with confidence as to playing the #1 ranked Temple Wildcats and their chances for success.
Well, you can hear the roar of the crowd as the Temple Wildcats of Coach Bob McQueen come out on the field. They're 5-0 going into district competition. They've been ranked #1 for most of this season, and they have certainly earned their spurs against tougher competition. Now, gentlemen, let's talk about competition. Obviously, Waco, with its 3-1 record, has not played the caliber of competition, and that has got to give the Temple Wildcats somewhat of an edge.
Well, I think that the Wildcats have gained a lot of experience in these first 5 ball games. They've had to come from behind on 2 occasions against Odessa and Converse Judson, and I think they're seasoned, and I think this is exactly what Coach McQueen wanted when he put together this schedule.
Well, as we get ready for the kickoff, one of the things that must be noted is that we have a standing room only crowd, and all the fans from Waco are down here for the red and white, and we have the blue and white of the Wildcats in great abundance. This one already has an air of electricity about it, and I don't think that a single person who has bought a ticket here will not get their money's worth.
Cliff, the Wildcats have come out in their style. They're ready to play. They're focused. It's a quiet confidence. By contrast, the Waco High Lions, they're jumping around. They're excited. I think one of the keys to tonight's game for Waco is to make something happen early, good for them, and so that they can maintain that emotion and kind of funnel it towards a sustained effort, because it's going to take a outstanding effort by Waco tonight to beat this #1 ranked Temple Wildcat club.
Well, the Waco Lions obviously won the toss, and the Temple Wildcats, no, they did not win the toss?
No, Temple won the toss and has deferred again.
Oh, I see. And, you know, that's not the first time that, I mean, they have done that before, and we need to talk a little bit as we watch Danny Magana getting ready to kick off. The wind may be a big factor here tonight.
It is really strong, and of course the Wildcats would love to have Danny boot one out of the end zone. The player to watch on the returns is number 3 for Waco Lions, Michael Harvey. He has returned 2 kickoffs this year and 2 interceptions for touchdowns. He is a very exciting player.
And the other deep returner, Stevens, has returned 1 kickoff for a touchdown. They have an unbelievable average. I think Harvey has over a 50-yard average per return on kickoff. Stevens about a 35-yard average.
Magana's kick is going to go deep back into the end zone. And once again, is he going to run it out? He says, no, I'll think about it, but finally decides to touch it down in the end zone. So the Waco Lions will start from their own 20. Now, the kicking game last week pinned Tyler Lee down into their own end zone on just virtually every kickoff, and maybe a tremendous factor here tonight.
Absolutely. What that amounted to on the kickoff is one lost opportunity for Michael Harvey to have an opportunity to run the football into the end zone. Big play already in the game. Coach McQueen's a field position football coach, and I think especially in big ball games, you'll see him play field position.
Running from the I formation, the quarterback is Elverno Williams, the junior 183-pound signal caller, and he's going to throw on the very first play. He throws it complete. This time he hits Jesse LeJan, the junior 172-pound wide receiver, and so they start passing right off the bat. They get the ball up to their own 35-yard line and do pick up a first down. So a quick-hitting pass sets maybe the tone, fellas.
Well, I personally thought Waco might come out with the run. This is interesting. They're throwing the football into the wind. They came out with a pass first play.
Williams, again, with men wide to the left and right. Looking to his left, going to throw a long one down the middle. Down the left sidelines. It's incomplete. That time it was defended expertly by Greg Steele, but he was trying for Charles Mitchell, the senior 155-pound wide receiver. And, boy, they're going for all the marbles right off the bat, aren't they?
For a team that runs 2/3 of the time, it's very unusual. They may be just trying to loosen up that Temple defense and set the run up with the pass.
Well, it may also be as a result of the enthusiasm this team feels coming out. They wanted to get going and get started and get after it right away, and certainly it's something that you can feed off of if you hit a team deep very early in the ball game.
What we have not seen so far is the scrambling of the Waco Lions quarterback, and he's supposed to be good at it as a man goes in motion to the left, a draw right up the middle. This time he took it and hit it to Robert Stevens. And Robert Stevens, who is the main runner for the Waco Lions, was brought down by Mark Churchwell of the Temple Wildcats defensive unit.
Well, that sprint draw play last year just broke Temple's back. They really ran it. They ran it well, and I think JJohnson had over 200 yards rushing last year on that sprint draw.
Well, and of course, Judson used it effectively in Game 3.
Man in motion to the left again. Draw play right up the middle. He's going to be close for the first down as Robert Stevens gets the call again. Robert Stevens, the senior 185-pound runner, was brought down by Dana President, and he leads the district in rushing with 592 yards for the year so far.
Of course, Cliff, that's with 4 ball games for the Waco High Lions. They're 3-1 and have played 4 ball games this year.
They're going to measure for the first down, and he's going to be, ever so short. And, just inches short, and that's going to be an interesting situation here. 4th down and inches to go. The ball resting on the Waco Lions 45, just inside the 45-yard line.
They're going to go for it.
Well, they show a lot of confidence by going for it early.
he's got it.
And he's easily got the first down. And that's a big, big psychological play for the Waco Lions as they push the ball into, not quite, into, make it the 47-yard line. So a pickup then by Elverna Williams, the quarterback, who, by the way, is one of the best runners on the team and a great scrambler, according to the scouting report. Receivers are split out on both sides as Williams drops back, swings to his right, throws on the run, incomplete, broken up by Greg Steele again. Charles Mitchell, the intended receiver.
And Cliff, one of the other things Waco would like to do, they're into the wind, so they would like to keep the ball as much as possible here in the first quarter and use up some of that clock so that the Wildcats passing game will have to throw the football into the wind.
I know Coach Tusa would like to use up as much clock as possible to keep the ball away from, like Mark alluded to, the Temple offense, period. So ball control will be a key for Waco's success tonight.
Oh, there's a keeper by Williams. He's got some running room, and he dances down to the to the Wildcats 40-yard line. Brought down finally by David Atkinson, the defensive rover.
Well, that's the blast option play, and everybody caved in on the inside. A great run by Williams, the quarterback.
So, 1st and 10 for the Waco Lions. They've looked very impressive on this opening drive as they've taken the opening kickoff from their own 20, moved it down to the Temple 40-yard line. 1st and 10. Man in motion to the left. Draw right up the middle. Again to Stevens. Stevens will see Yeoman Shores. He brought down that time by Jonathan Berry.
Well, as you mentioned before the ball game, Waco's strength is their offensive line, and they really have a fine offensive line. They have 3 returning starters on their offensive line, led by Ruben Polakin, a 265-pound senior, all-district blue chipper.
Marked the ball at about the 31-yard line of the Temple Wildcats. 2nd down, 1 to go. Again, hand off the middle, this time to the fullback, Curly Ward, the sophomore who weighs 237 pounds. That's a lot of beef going through the line.
Well, he's a strong football player. And it looks like the Waco Lions have picked up another 1st down. So this is a great opening drive for the Waco Lions.
Well, it was obvious that they started out by passing to loosen up the defensive front of the of the Temple Wildcats, and then they've now gone almost exclusively to the running game. They've looked good on this drive.
Well, they really have. Of course, they're predominantly a running team, but that always helps loosen the defense.
Quick pitch this time to Robert Stevens, and I'll tell you what.
That's Greg Steele from the cornerback position on what looked to be like a blitz, and he really disrupted things early in the backfield.
Immediate penetration, great play by Greg Steele.
Greg was just a hair from tackling him in the backfield, but what he did do was slow him down enough. Lost a little yardage on the play. They mark it at just outside the Temple 30-yard line. Make it 2nd down and 11. Mitchell out wide to the right for the Lions. Williams looking to pass. Rush. Got a lot of pressure. Gets the ball underway. And it may be incomplete. Broken up that time by Tony Lott, but it was the defensive rush that really put the pressure on the Waco quarterback.
Well, you're exactly right, Cliff. We had Dana President in there and Gerard Mackey, and then a great play by Tony Lott downfield and knocked the pass down. That was team defense at its best.
It would appear that with 3rd down and 11 that the Wildcats have made some defensive adjustments, a tradition that they have displayed most of the year in being flexible and making those critical adjustments to their opponent's offensive attack. Receivers out on both sides this time for Waco as Williams, who's going to pass. No, he hands it off right up the middle again to Robert Stevens on the draw, and he'll be stopped well short before he gets anywhere. Nice move that time, led in part by Donche Martin on the defensive front wall of the Temple Wildcats, and that will bring up 4th down and 8 to go. So just when the blue and white fans were afraid that the Waco Lions were going to drive down for an opening score, they have been stalled by the defensive efforts of the Temple Wildcats. There's a timeout down on the field with 7:40 left in this first quarter. Still no score. We'll be back right after this.
What can you do with $20? Take it to your Central Texas GMC truck dealers in Temple and Killeen, and you'll be amazed what $20 can do. Just combine your $20 with the factory rebate available on new Jimmys, Sonomas, or GMC vans. With the rebate assigned to dealer, your down payment is only $20. So come to Jim Tranum in Temple or Cleo Bay in Killeen. But hurry, see what $20 can do at your Central Texas GMC truck dealer.
Welcome back to Wildcat Stadium here early in the first period. Still no score between the Waco Lions and the Temple Wildcats. A fourth down situation, 4th down and 7, and it would appear, although it's too early to tell as they're still went back to the huddle on 4th down, we may have them going for the 4th down, and yes, sir, that's exactly what they're going to do. Quite a gamble this time by the Waco Lions with 4th down and 8 to go. Well, he's looking for a pass receiver. He's going to pass. He hits him complete. Down to the 15-yard line as Elverna Williams hit Robert Stevens in a critical play, and what a surprise. First down on the Temple Wildcats 15-yard line.
I believe that was either Robert Stevens or Curly Ward on the reception. In either case, it was a back out of a backfield, a very fine play. They faked a running play and snuck a back out of the backfield in the flat area. That's extremely effective.
So Coach John Tucci is not afraid to gamble right off the bat to try to get his team in a prime scoring position. Quick pitch this time to Stevens. He slips down before he gets to the line of scrimmage. And he may have lost maybe a yard on the play.
I don't think Coach Tusa could have scripted it any better. This is already the 14th play of this drive, consuming almost half of the first quarter here. So ball control and moving steadily down the field has got to really please Coach Tusa here in the first quarter.
And Mark, I think probably ball control is the very key thing. As Gordon says, that seems to be one of the few things that slows down the Temple Wildcats.
Well, obviously, if their offense doesn't have the football, it definitely slows down the point production.
Wide receivers both sides now. Man in motion to the right. And there's going to be flags on the play. We have probably the offensive line jumping off. Yes, sir, that's what they're going to say. Offside, they'll mark it back 5 yards. A little bit more breathing room for the Temple Wildcats. A little bit further to go for the Waco Lions as they mark it just outside the Temple 20-yard line.
You know, normally by about 6 minutes into the ball game, the players have kind of settled down a little bit, and that adrenaline's still flowing, but it's more of a controlled adrenaline. But this evening, you really sense a lot of excitement in the air, and it may take them a full quarter before they kind of get into the game and get in a groove.
The Waco Lions holding somewhat of a jinx over the Temple Wildcats in the previous years. As we see, man in motion, Jesse Lejeune. Williams being pressured. They'll sack him. Oh, my goodness, David Atkins from the Wildcat defensive area just came roaring through to put on a tremendous sack all the way back up to the 34-yard line, and that's just exactly what the Temple Wildcats needed.
Well, Coach Davis, the wheels were turning in his head that time. He decided to send a safety, and it was a great call on the defensive part. Great play by Atkinson.
3rd down, 25 to go now. Again, receivers out on both sides for the Waco Lions. Williams, short drop back, going to throw a fly around and down the right sideline. This time, Tony Lott was there to cover Charles Mitchell, the receiver, and it goes incomplete, so we have a 4th down and 25. Now, the real question here is, he gambled once before on those 4th and long, but will he gamble with 4th and 25?
No, I don't believe he will. I believe he's sending in the punt team. It's a totally different situation than it was before, and I think he'd like to pin the Wildcats deep in their own territory here early in the ballgame. Super position by Tony Lott that time on defense.
So the Waco Lions will have to punt. There's the snap. He's going to pooch kick it, and he's going to try for the coffin corner, and he does get it and they will mark it at about the 15-yard line. No, they'll mark it just inside the 15. So the Temple Wildcats will get the ball for the first time tonight with 5:25 left in this first period, and they'll have it on their own 14-yard line. And when you talk about ball control, fellows, the Waco Lions have really done it.
Cliff, a 15-play, 6-minute and 35-second drive, but the key statistic, no points. A great defensive stand by the Wildcats.
Delarius Wilson on a quick hander off the left side. He picks up short yardage before he's brought down in there by a number of defensive players from Waco, led by Lee Brill, the 230-pound senior tackle.
Well, Delarius is number 2 in the district, rushing the football with a 6-yard average, having a great year behind an outstanding offensive line.
Trip receivers left for the Wildcats. Adrian Woodson sends Delarius Wilson in motion to the right. He drops back. He's looking for a receiver. And there must have been a mix-up in signals because he threw left and the receiver went right. Intended that time for Greg Watson. And Watson went across the middle instead of out into the left flat.
Well, there is a strong wind, and sometimes the wind behind your back will cause you to throw the ball a little higher than you'd like. So I'm sure Adrian will adjust to that and come back on third down and try to throw a strike.
Big third down play here, 3rd and 9 for the Temple Wildcats. Again, a man in motion to the left. Woodson drops back. He's looking for receivers, has time, finally gets it away, and he's going to be picked off at the 45-yard line by the Waco Lions. He's got some running room. He may go all the way. Yes, sir. He will go all the way. There's a flag on the play, but meanwhile, it's touchdown for the Waco Lions by Mitchell Harvey, who has great speed, 4.4 speed. He picked it off, ran it in 45 yards for a touchdown.
Well, we talked about what a great athlete he is, but I believe there's a clipping penalty on the play, and that touchdown will be brought back and probably reset on about the 35-yard line.
In the meantime, we had a man down on the field, a defensive man, number 32, Gerald Watson, who was shaken up temporarily. And the referees are going to sort it all out. We'll see what the call is going to be. Great defensive effort that time by Mitchell Harvey, and he certainly has the speed to burn.
He is an exciting player.
Clipping against the Waco Lions. Boy, you talk about dodging a bullet now. Coach Bob McQueen's team certainly have dodged a bullet. The ball will be marked at about the 35-yard line.
Well, the Wildcat defense is going to have to step up to the challenge at this point. Waco obviously has the momentum going for them right now early in the ball game.
So the Waco Lions did not get the touchdown, but they did get the football on the Wildcat 35-yard line. Man in motion, a man out wide to the right. Quick pitch, this time to Robert Stevens. He's got some running room. He's got one man between him and the goal. And he is brought down finally at about the 4-yard line. Don Shea Martin prevented the touchdown.
Great run by Robert Stevens. Of course, he's an outstanding athlete. He played receiver last year and did a great job. And, of course, they moved him to running back this year, and he's having an outstanding season. Also, Don Shea Martin, just tremendous pursuit way downfield, the defensive tackle to make that play. Outstanding.
So a very costly turnover by the Temple Wildcats. And Waco has the football on their own on the Waco on the Temple 5-yard line. They've called a timeout on the play with 4:06 left in the first period. And right now, gentlemen, it would appear that the Waco Lions have no respect for that unbeaten #1 ranking of the Temple Wildcats. They have come into Temple to play football.
Well, you know, the record really wouldn't matter, Cliff. It's Temple, it's Waco, and they like to play each other, and that's really what it's all about. First district ball game. Waco's a defending champion, and a defending champion will not go down easily. I can promise you that.
Well, we don't want to forget, Gordon, that this is a team that went to the state semifinals last year and lost out to eventual state champion Odessa Permian. They have a quality program.
They do, and they've already been able to do something no other team this year has been able to do, and that's intercept Adrian Woodson. That is Adrian Woodson's first interception of the season by Harvey. .406 left in this first period. Still no score, but the Waco Lions are knocking on the door. They have the ball on the Temple Wildcats 5-yard line. They send a man in motion to the left as Williams is going to pitch it out to Stevens. Stevens looking for running room. He gets off one man, fumble on the play, recovered by the Temple Wildcats. And as they unscramble, let's see who gets the ball. Let's see who picks it up. Oh, what a big turnover. It looks like number 60. Yes, sir, Jared Mackey picked up that loose football after a hard hit to Robert Stevens. Stevens was going for the extra yardage and trying to push across, and he coughed up the football on a hard hit, and one more time, Temple dodges the bullet.
Well, that's why you try to run all the way downfield like Don Shea Martin did and make a play to save a touchdown, because anything can happen. You never give up a yard, and they were able to turn them away because of some great plays that were made earlier in that series.
This game is not for the faint-hearted as Delarius Wilson has got some running room. He has one step. No, Gerald Watson. Oh, my. Gerald Watson was within one step of about a 95-yard touchdown run.
Well, you know, Gerald had a great game last week. He had over 100 yards rushing the football last week, doing an outstanding job.
Well, that's the first strong effort on offense that we've seen from the Temple Wildcats with 3:49 left in the first quarter. First and 10 now from about their own 24-yard line. Again, a man out wide to the left. Draw play. Up the middle. He's got one man between him and the goal. Oh, my. Did Gerald Watson have a hole? What a great play as he's brought down finally by Mitchell Harvey. And was that a draw play?
It was kind of a delayed counter kind of tray thing, and he just ran north and south. He was headed straight for that end zone. Tremendous acceleration.
First down on the 50-yard line.
You know, Cliff, the game has so many ebbs and flows already here in the first quarter. We've had momentum shift a couple of different times.
This is not for the faint-hearted. Again, handoff up the middle, but this time he meets head-on Lee Brill, the 230-pound outstanding senior defensive tackle from Waco, and he may have made a yard at best.
Cliff, Derek Bates goes in at receiver. Number 18 has been hurt since the second game of the season, the Permian game. He's now back in at slot back.
Woodson, hands off, up the middle. Watson, again, the 175-pound junior, makes outstanding yardage near the first down mark.
Of course, Derek Bates could mean an awful lot to this ball game. Derek is averaging 29 yards a catch, and he caught the 80-yard touchdown, first offensive play of the season for the Wildcats. Derek has a lot of talent, a lot of speed.
Third down and 2 now. Woodson on a keeper will pick up the first down.
Well, as we've commented before, sometimes in that 4-3 defense, the soft spot's right in the middle on short yardage because the center is not covered by a defensive player, and Adrian, I believe, just took an automatic for that short yardage.
Got a couple of minutes left here with the win in the first quarter. Of course, Adrian's not completed the pass yet with one interception and one incomplete.
First and 10 for the Wildcats. now in the territory. Oh, Gerald Watson again. Again, he's doing some heavy running all the way down to the 25-yard line. And you talk about ebb and flow. We have an ebb and flow now. The momentum clearly is with the Temple Wildcats as they are making an impressive drive.
Well, let's talk about Joel Amos and John Meldy and Mike Lawrence and Mark Beards and Russell Dolgener and Scott Marvick. They're doing a great job up front opening some holes.
First and 10, the ball now resting on the Waco line, 25-yard line. Trips receivers to the right. Handoff up the middle to Watson. Watson will be stopped for a loss on the play.
Waco has tremendous speed on defense and great closing ability, and you could see it there. There were probably 6 players on the football.
Tommy Dean leading the tacklers on that play for Waco. Second down. Still 10 to go. Just outside 1 minute left in this first quarter of play as the officials call for a timeout to discuss things. This has been an interesting football game. The Waco Lions took off.
I'm not exactly sure what the problem is here, if we have an ejection or what. It may be an equipment problem that he sent him to the sideline to get repaired before they'd let him back in the ball game.
Whatever the case, it's second down and 10 for the Temple Wildcats. The ball resting on the 26-yard line of Waco. Again, trips receiver to the right. Woodson in a long count on a keeper, looking to pass. Oh, has a man wide open. Scott Marvick right across the middle, and the pass is just off his fingertips, and you got to believe that the pressure put on Woodson that time had some effect on his pass.
Good penetration. Marvick made an outstanding attempt at catching the football, but it was just a little high, and the Wildcats are going to have a decision here as to what to do with 3rd and long.
Again, the officials call for timeout. They're going to talk it all over. 32 seconds left in this first quarter.
I believe Coach McQueen made that timeout call because he wanted to have the wind here for this play. At 32 seconds, a very smart play by a long-time coach for the Temple Wildcats. He's been in these situations before. Decided he wanted to play with the wind.
Yes, and I did not see Temple call for the timeout. It appeared that the officials had. Earlier they had called one to check on equipment. We have 32 seconds of stiff wind blowing from east to west. And you can look at the flag at the west end of the end zone and see that it's quite a breeze. And perhaps you're right with 3rd and 10.
Like Mark alluded to, this is a 3rd down play. If the pass is incomplete, that stops the clock once more, and that would enable Temple a possibility of a field goal attempt with the wind. So that timeout did come in, signaled in from the sidelines. Coach McQueen using his timeout wisely.
Earlier we had talked about the Waco Lions and their ball handling and controlling the football to eat up the clock. We have now seen Temple do just the same thing on a mirror image, and this drive, which began at about their own 15-yard line, is right now at the Waco Lions 26.
Well, I think what you have is 2 very fine football teams going at one another tonight, and I would imagine they're gonna play like this all evening.
As we get ready to play again, they have readjusted the clock back up to 48 seconds left. Receivers out on both sides now for the Temple Wildcats. Woodson back in a shotgun formation, swings his right, pressured. And are they going to say that it was an incomplete forward pass, or was it a fumble recovered? And I think they're going to say it was a fumble recovered by the Temple Wildcats.
Great hit by Jimmy Rodriguez, I believe it was that time for the Waco Lions, pressuring Adrian Woodson. Also a fine block by Derek Bates on a crackback block. Gave Adrian a little bit more time to throw the football. The Wildcats are going to play field position here and try to kick the ball down deep in the Lions territory.
Well, if you came into Wildcat Stadium so far and you expected a tremendous offensive show, you have seen a classic defensive struggle by 2 outstanding teams. And now there's whistles on the play. The referee obviously didn't like something in the lineup. And he's going to say that's it. That's the end of the first quarter with our score. Waco 0, Temple 0. We'll be back for more right after this.
At King's Daughters Hospital, we deliver bouncing baby boys, bouncing baby girls, and all the joy that bouncing babies bring. King's Daughters Hospital, delivering happy babies to you.
It's the beginning of the second quarter here. Still no score in Wildcat Stadium between top-ranked Temple and the Waco Lions. This has turned out to be a classic defensive struggle. Both teams have initiated long drives but have yet failed to cash in as Richard Mata gets ready to punt on a 4th and 20 situation for the Temple Wildcats.
Cliff, an interesting bit of strategy. Coach McQueen elected to allow the clock to run out. He's kicking into the wind now. However, he's kicking from the 36-yard line. So he didn't have to use that timeout, did not have to burn that second timeout because actually the wind could favor this punt as he kicks into the wind to try to pin it down inside the 10.
Interesting bit of strategy by Coach Bob McQueen. High kick, headed for the coffin corner, and they're going to get a tremendous kick out of that. Oh, my goodness. Got Merrick or Press Thomas.
I believe that was Stephen Thompson. Stephen Thompson, number 85, doing a great job pinning the ball deep inside the 5-yard line. Great execution. Coach McQueen works on that awful lot in practice, and they call that, I believe, bunt the punt or something like that.
Whatever it was, your eyes are better than mine, Mark. The ball is now resting on about the 7-yard line. No, correction, that's not true. It's about the 3-yard line at best for the Waco Lions deep in their own territory. Handoff right up the middle. Robert Stevens getting the call for the Lions. He's looking for a little bit of breathing room, and he picks up pretty good yardage.
You know, Robert Stevens has had 8 touchdowns last year as a receiver, and he's already got 8 touchdowns this year, so he's headed for just an outstanding season.
Picked up 5 on the play. They have the ball now on their own 7-yard line. Just now, the beginning of the second quarter. They have receivers out wide on both sides now, as Elverna Williams, the quarterback, again, handoff, draw up the middle to Robert Stevens, stopped by Jarrett Mackey. This is the play during the first period that they were so successful on and what they have been deadly on for a number of years, and it would appear, at least in this early series here, that the Wildcat defense from Temple has made some adjustments.
So Stevens is the workhorse. Got 10 carries for 59 yards. The big one, though, the 31-yard carry down inside the 5, and the Wildcats have tried to put a lid on him here.
Yes, and at this point in time, we'll get back to it in a minute as Williams rolls out to his left, being pressured. Oh, he's trying to throw the football away. Is it live? Are they going to rule it deliberate grounding? They are going to rule that it was an incomplete forward pass. Boy, did he dodge a bullet. We thought for sure that he was going to be trapped in the end zone for a safety. The officials say, no, sir. He got the pass away. And, boy, you talk about dodging a bullet, the Lions did.
Well, the Lions really did. He was extremely fortunate to get that football off because he was definitely trapped back there in the end zone.
So, 4th down. The ball is now resting and will be punted from his own end zone. Tremendous punt with the wind. Going to be taken at about the 39-yard line. Nice run back that time by Derek Bates. And that play previously we thought for sure was going to result in a safety for the Temple Wildcats.
I believe that was number 2, Kevin Tickle, that made that beautiful spiraling punt.
First and 10 for the Wildcats, just outside. just inside the 50-yard line. Watson, the call. He'll drive down to about the 41-yard line. Started on about the 49, so he'll pick up about 8 on the play.
Well, Delirious may be a little bit hurt this evening, and Gerald is seeing an awful lot of action here in the ball game and doing an outstanding job running the football. We said last week that Temple was about 3 deep at least at the tailback position, and it certainly is helping this evening.
Receivers out on both sides for the Temple Wildcats. Woodson, hands off, draw, up the middle. Watson's got a lot of running room. He's headed to pay dirt. Touchdown. He'll not go in. Yes, sir. Temple Wildcats. Tremendous run by Gerald Watson, the junior 175-pound running back, and he had daylight that you could drive a truck through and then bowled over a tackler.
Oh, just beautiful blocking by the offensive line, Cliff, but also he split the 2 defensive backs. He's running north and south tonight and just doing an outstanding job.
41-yard run, apparently, as the Temple Wildcats get on the scoreboard first. This game has all the earmarks of being a struggle right down to the final wire.
Gerald Watson already with over 100 yards here in the first quarter, the workhorse for the Temple Wildcats.
The extra point kick by Danny Lagana is good. So with 9:36 left in this second period of play, the Temple Wildcats strike for pay dirt first. We would remind our viewers that this is a district competition. A district competition means that if there are ties, they will go for penetration first. Penetration means the first team to score or go into past the 20-yard line, and we'll keep you informed of the penetration factor here tonight.
Well, one thing you have to think about right off the bat if you're the Temple Wildcats, you're fixing to have to kick the football, and you're probably not going to be able to kick it out of the end zone with this stiff wind, which means the exciting return man from the Waco Lions are going to get a chance to bring this thing back.
Yes, sir. He certainly is dangerous.
Well, you can't kick away from anybody down there, because Stevens has a 35-yard return average and has returned 1 for a touchdown. Of course, Harvey has returned, was it 2 for a touchdown. So, you know, you can't kick away from anybody down there.
You never know. Coach McQueen may have a different strategy for this game as far as kicking the football off. We'll have to wait and see.
You're right. He may elect to do what they call the squib kick. You know, that's where they intentionally kick it low and shorter and try to get some of the upbacks to pick it up and lessen the chance of a big return.
A little bit of strategy here between two outstanding District 13 5A teams as we see Danny Magana preparing to tee it off from his own 40-yard line. Magana has really been booting the football all season long, well into the end zone most of the time. In this stiff wind, it remains to be seen what the strategy will be. And now there seems to be something that Coach Bob McQueen doesn't like, so what he's going to do is call a timeout and bring his team over to talk it all over. And yes, this wind apparently is a factor here tonight.
Well, that just shows you how much they want to make sure they execute the kickoff properly, that they're going to give up a timeout on the kickoff. That shows tremendous respect for the Waco Lions return men, and justly so.
You know, I've never seen not 1 but 2 average per return like that by a team. And, you know, it's not like it's the first or second game. This is already, well, this is their 5th game. And to have a 35-yard average and a 50-yard average on the kickoff return is just unbelievable.
Mitchell Harvey, Robert Stevens back deep for the Waco Lions. They're back deep on about their own 5-yard line. In case you just joined us, with 9:36 left in this first half of play, Temple Wildcats lead by a score of 7-0. Danny Magana gets ready to kick off again. And he elects to boot it, and he drives the football, and he'll go into the end zone again. It'll be taken 1 yard deep in the end zone, and a tremendous hit up about the 15-yard line.
Derek Bates, great play, Derek Bates. That ball was kicked how deep in the end zone? 2 yards deep in the end zone
about
into
2
this
yards,
wind?
yes, against a tremendous wind, a great kick.
Great kickoff.
Danny's got a little adrenaline going tonight.
Unbelievable.
So the Waco Lions will begin play at their own 16-yard line. Incidentally, that was an 18-yard return from 2 yards deep in his own end zone, all the way back up to the 18. As Elverno Williams, the quarterback, has receivers out on both sides wide. Handoff right up the middle. Draw play to Stevens. Stevens will be brought down by Prez Thomas just inside the 20-yard line.
Well, the Waco offensive line has 4 returning starters on it. Curly Turner, Will Capps, James Kuzman, Pete Hines, and again Ruben Pavelkin. Just great players and very large, very strong.
Ruben Pavelkin weighs 265 pounds. Will Capps weighs 245. Terry Turner 255. A pass incomplete. That time from Williams. Broken up by Jonathan Berry. He was trying to hit Jesse LeJan. LeJan seems to be his go-to receiver so far tonight, but the passing game, except for the first 2 passes, he's just not been that successful.
Well, I think they're trying to press the corner a little bit, run some sprint-out plays, and throw in front of those fine cornerbacks that Temple has on defense right now.
Again, we see 2 receivers out wide to the left this time for the Lions as he sent a man in motion to the right. Straight drop back pass. He's going for the long pass. He had the lead, but he overthrew his receiver. Derek Bates, Greg Steele were back there to cover, but in fact, he just simply overthrew Charles Mitchell. So the Temple Wildcats hold and will force a punting situation on the Waco Lions, 4th and 6. As we see Kevin Tinkle.
Well, Kevin's definitely got the Wildcats' respect on the punt return. They're way back there expecting this ball to ride a long way.
Low snap from center. He still gets it off. It'll be fielded at about the 38-yard line by Adrian Johnson. Adrian, looking for the wall, has found some blocks, gets past 3 men, and is finally knocked out at the Waco Lions 41-yard line. That was Damian Johnson on the return.
Well, again, the Wildcats are getting excellent field position considering the wind. They were able to get a good return, and that's extremely valuable in this situation.
So for the last 2 times that Waco has had the football, the Wildcat defense of Coach Bob McQueen has stopped them and given pretty good field position to the offensive unit.
That's a big plus with this wind.
After the 31-yard burst by Stevens, he has 9 yards on 4 carries here in the second quarter.
Receivers out on both sides for the Wildcats. Right up the middle. Oh, my. Does he have a lot of running room? Oh, my. Gerald Watson, the junior 175-pound fullback. You could have driven a herd of buffaloes through that hole as he goes down to the 25-yard line.
Gerald's doing a great job. He seems to be getting stronger and stronger. I hope Derek Bates is okay. He's limping off field just a little bit. Coming off injury. I hope it's nothing serious.
Bates, who has been plagued with injuries so far this year, now on the sideline. Again, handoff up the middle. They'll be stopped at about the 25. Tommy Dean made the tackle for the Waco Lions.
Well, I think the defense destroyed the timing on that play. It was there for a moment, but again, Waco closes so fast on defense. They do a great job.
Here's an interesting scenario. The leading ball carrier for the Temple Wildcats, Delarius Wilson, is not seen as much action in fullback tonight as has Gerald Watson, giving the Temple Wildcats a double punch. Receivers again spread out on both sides. Watson has a hole. Finally brought down at the 15-yard line.
Well, Cliff Delarius injured a shoulder last week, and he's not 100%. But boy, isn't it great to have a Gerald Watson backing you up with already over 135 yards in this
tackle
game.
that time by Mitchell Harvey. And yes, when we talk about depth, we talk about the Temple Wildcats as we speak. Delarius Wilson comes in, and you're absolutely correct. Coach Bob McQueen has a very envious situation in that in a lot of his positions this year, he's very, very deep in talent.
He is, and so far, whenever anybody's gone down, somebody's been able to step in and do a great job.
So we have a 1st and 10 situation. The ball resting on the Waco Lions 15-yard line. 7:12 left in this first half of play. Temple leading 7-0. Two receivers out on the left, one out on the right for the Wildcats. Woodson hands off to Wilson, looking for room. Drives down to about the 4-yard line. Wilson, the 150-pound junior running back, and the fullback, what we like to call a mighty mite, is really, really hard to bring down, as Waco can attest.
He's a 150-pound hard-running machine, and he may be nicked a little bit, but he looked pretty good on that play.
He sure did. I take that back. I think he's 100%.
Yes, it would appear he does seem to be 100%, but the strategy to use Wilson and Watson apparently has worked quite well now, as you see the Temple Wildcats on a good drive deep now into Waco Lions territory.
Well, this is into the wind, and it would be extremely important for the Wildcats to go ahead and score here.
Well, you know, it's not easy pushing that Waco defensive wall back either. They're pretty talented and pretty deep. Wilson on a handoff, looking for running room. Again, fights for yardage to about the 2.5-yard line.
Case in point there, Cliff, what you just mentioned. Waco got to the ball and probably had 6 people on the football that time.
Lee Brill making the tackle.
Waco has an outstanding middle linebacker, Carmen Turner. Returning starter, had 92 tackles last year for the Waco Lions.
2nd down. Goal to go. Ball resting on the 2 of Waco. Wilson on a handoff. He'll walk in. Touchdown, Temple Wildcats. Nice run that time, but a great job by the offensive line.
Super job by the offensive line. They've done it all year long. And a big hit by the Waco Lions right down there on the goal line to try to keep him out of the end zone.
It is not easy to push back people like Lee Brill, Jimmy Rodriguez, Jimmy Hammond, and Charles Foster. They're talented. They have some size to them, and yet they have not been able to stop the offensive efforts of the Temple Wildcats. As Danny Magana, his kick, it's good. So with 5:46 left in this first half of play, the Temple Wildcats, number 1 ranked, lead the Waco Lions 14-0, and now the crowd gives them a tremendous ovation as they come back up the field. You talk about momentum, and you talk about the Temple Wildcats have slowly but surely begun to gain control in that department.
Well, they have, and like Mark talked about, the field position, the 2 touchdown drives, 48 yards and 42 yards, and like Mark said, into the wind. Ball control, well, I say ball control. The 48-yard drive was just a two-play drive with Gerald Watson taking it in from 42 yards out. But you're right, the past two drives has really got to deflate the Waco Lions' emotional balloon here in the second quarter.
Mark, what kind of psychological factor is it in the sense that the Temple Wildcats have made these touchdowns against the wind?
Well, I think that more than maybe even against the wind, it's the fact that they're able to run the football. That whether you're with the wind or without the wind, the fact that you can run the football is tremendous confidence building. I don't know when I've ever been to a game where people were more aware of the kickoff and what can happen on the kickoff than they are tonight here.
Well, we talk about the wind. It is still blowing quite stiffly from east to west as it just blew the football off the tee. So Danny Magana tees it up once again. And we'll see whether he kicked it into the end zone this time. The kick is up, and he gets a foot into it, and it will go about 3 yards deep into the end zone, where it'll be touchdown. So they'll bring the ball back up, and you talk about a lethal weapon. Chalk up Danny Magana for the Temple Wildcats because his toe has really helped so far tonight.
It really has, Cliff. I don't think I could kick it twice and get it down there like that. He's doing a great job.
Well, you know, some college scouts have got to be looking at that young man and eyeing him as a potential player. Waco now will have the football on their own 20-yard line. Still 5:46 left in this first half of play. They trail 14-0. Williams pitch to Stevens. Stevens stops. Led by Trez Thomas. Helped in part by Mark Churchwell, and that was just simply a great defensive effort. David Atkins also in on the play.
David looks like he's a little bit shaken up. Hopefully he'll be all right. Big hit by David in there on the play as well.
They'll mark the ball at just inside the 20-yard line. No gain on the play. Still second down and 10. And if you're the Waco Lions, you've got to wonder what it's going to take to score. They've driven down twice, and they haven't come up with any pay dirt yet. Here's a long pass, and he had a man open as he was shooting for Charles Mitchell, the wide receiver. Well, I was right the first time. We spotted it correct. Jesse LeJan, the wide receiver in the intended.
Well, I think this wind is really affecting the passing game because neither team right now is able to throw the ball and really put it where they want to put it. And I think that's strictly as a result of this strong wind.
Third down, 10 yards to go for the Waco Lions. Williams swings out to his left, looks for a receiver across the middle. He's got a man wide open, in and out of the hands of Joe Bishop, the sophomore tight end. So that'll bring up a fourth down situation as we saw Eric Adams break up the pass. And a good rush on Elverno Williams, the quarterback for Waco. And some of the steam seems to be taken out of the Lions right now, at least for the moment, as the Temple defensive unit has begun to assert some control. We see Kevin Tikel about to punt from his own 7-yard line. He'll punt with the wind. Good rush that time. Nearly blocked it. It'll be taken at the 40-yard line by Bates. He reverses field. There's a flag on the play, but it's going to be a foot race to the end zone. And he's pulled down. Derek Bates was pulled down at about the 10-12-yard line. But we have a flag all the way back up at the Waco, at the Temple 45-yard line.
We're going to have to wait and see, but I believe we may have a illegal block in the back on the Wildcats, and then a face mask penalty on the Waco High Lions at the end of the return.
So we have lots of flags, lots of decisions, lots of conversation down on the field by the fellows in striped shirts.
Derek Bates is doing a great job tonight. He's played a little defense, played a little offense. Derek is going down on the kickoffs and made a great play on the kickoff, and I think that's a move Coach McQueen made on the kickoff, which puts Derek in a position to go down there with his speed and make a play.
Derek Bates started out to his right and reversed field, and then it became a foot race, and finally was bounced out of bounds at about the 12 because the punter, I believe Tikel, had the angle on him. So as they try to unscramble it all, it would appear that the ball is going to finally be marked at the Waco Lions 20-yard line. What a tremendous thing for the Temple Wildcats.
Well, they're going to line it up, and they're going to do it all over again. Offsetting penalties.
You're absolutely right. I thought that they were going to give Temple the ball on the 20, which did not make a lot of sense. But you're absolutely correct. They're going to say, okay, offsetting penalties, let's try it all over again.
Well, sometimes you don't know if punting with the wind is a blessing or a curse, because what happens is you kick it so far, you outkick your coverage, and these guys have a chance to get a head of steam going. And Derek Bates and Damian Johnson can return the ball if they get things going their way.
So we'll now see Kevin Tikel again punting the ball. This time he gets a tremendous toe, drives all the way back to the 26-yard line. Oh, we've got one man. He's got one man. Damian Johnson. What a dangerous punt returner he is. He took it to his own 25-yard line. They'll finally drag him down at about the 32-yard line.
And what you saw there was exactly what we talked about, but also a great catch on the punt by JJohnson. He caught that ball over his head with his hands and did not let it hit the ground. Super play by Damian.
Yes, it was a tremendous punt with the wind.
Outstanding kick. I don't know how far that thing traveled, but I guess he fielded on about his 27-yard line, something like that.
About a 54-yard punt.
Woodson hands off to Watson. Watson's going to be stopped for a loss on the play. This time brought down by number 48, Charles Foster, the sophomore defensive player for the Waco Lions. We have 4:05 left in this first half. The Temple Wildcats leading 14-0.
Well, Cliff, now the pressure's on the Waco defense here to stop the Wildcats. They've had 2 touchdowns the last 2 drives. By contrast, the Wildcat defense has come up with a big play against Waco's offense. They have 9 total yards. They're past 3 possessions.
Coach Johnny Tusa does not want to see his Lions facing a 21-0 deficit going into the dressing room at halftime. Watson in motion to the right. Lots of pressure. Finally, Adrian Woodson gets the pass off. An incredible bit of athletic ability as he had Lee Brill hanging all over him. The pass is incomplete, but he's lucky that he didn't get the football stolen from him. Great defensive effort.
Outstanding play by Lee. Great pressure. Wildcats had no backs in the backfield that time, trying to spread the Waco defense out. Waco did an outstanding job adjusting to it.
3:32 left in this first half of play. The ball resting on the 34-yard line of the Waco Lions. Temple has the ball with trip receivers to the right this time. Adrian Woodson, the quarterback. Look, has a man open, overthrows him right over his head. In and out of the hands of Greg Watson, and he was right on target, but just a little bit high. Again, the wind may be a factor, although that's not necessarily an excuse, but certainly it has affected their accuracy.
With 3:27 left, Coach Queen again is going to try to pin them deep in their own territory with a punt, possibly be able to get the ball back.
All right, there's a timeout on the field. We'll take one, too. We'll be right back.
It's taken nearly 80 years for the automobile industry to create one of the most frustrating experiences of a lifetime, buying a new car, and only a couple of months for Johnson Brothers Ford to change it. It's gone from an annoying game of wondering what the dealer is really willing to sell the car for, to walking the lot, seeing the discounted prices on the windshield, picking your color and options, and taking it home knowing you got the same great price as your neighbor. It's called one pricing, and it'll change the way you think about buying a new car, and only Johnson Brothers Ford has it.
We're back with 3:18 left in this first half. Temple just punted the football by Danny Magana.
Danny's second punt inside the 10-yard line. This one is a 5 down by Russell Dolgener after a 32-yard punt.
So again, the Waco Lions have poor field position, even though they have the wind at their back. The ball will be marked at the 5-yard line. He has receivers out on both sides. Williams hands off up the middle to Stevens. And Stevens is brought down just a little bit past his own 10-yard marker. 3:01 left in this first half of play. Temple leading 14-0 here in Wildcat Stadium on a windy October night. Twin receivers out wide to the right. Williams hands off to the right side to fullback Curly Ward, the sophomore. And he'll push the ball up maybe near the first down. Very close. And I think that's what the referees are taking a look at right now. They're going to say he's just a little bit short.
Well, the Wildcats are having to make some adjustments in the secondary. I believe David Atkinson is out of the ball game. Greg Steele has moved to safety, and Derek Bates to corner.
Here's a big third down for the Waco Lions. 3rd down and 1. Handoff. Stevens. He'll make it with room to spare. He paid the price, however, as he ran head-on into Dana President and Greg Steele from Temple. Nevertheless, he makes the first down. They'll mark the ball at the 19-yard line.
That's a big play for the Waco Lions. They needed to get the ball off their goal line because Temple was wanting to get the ball back and hopefully get great field position out of it.
And you know he's got to pass sooner or later with 1:49 left in the half. Pitch, going to be a halfback pass. He's got a man, but he overthrows him. Charles Mitchell was the intended receiver. Tony Lott on the coverage, and Tony did a great job. Or was it Greg Steele? It was Tony Lott and Greg Steele who did good jobs on the defensive coverage.
They really did. You mentioned Cliff. You thought he'd throw the football, halfback pass. Great call.
1:41 left in this first half of play. Second down and 10. Johnny Tusa, the coach of the Waco Lions, has got to be wondering what it takes to cross the goal line. As we see a handoff again to Stevens on a little delayed draw off the left side.
He is just so dangerous. We've only seen him really get out in the open once tonight, but he is just a great football player.
Yes, he is, and he's quick. However, it still means that the Waco Lions, with the ball on their own 25-yard line, they're 75 yards away. The clock is running down now with 1:17 left in this half.
Running back
Robert.
Robert.
Believe you're going to see a pass on this play. A quick hitter to Mitchell, complete. Brought down at the 35-yard line. Good defensive effort on Mitchell. Tony Lott, one-on-one with him, brings him down at the 35, and it keeps the ball inbound. They'll stop the clock at 1:02, and now they roll the clock again.
Again, big play for the Waco Lions. It also helps get Williams in a little bit of a throwing rhythm with a completion.
His third completion at 10 attempts.
Man in motion, Jesse LeJan to the left. Handoff, this time again to Robert Stevens, and he'll be smothered in there by Don Shea Martin for a loss. That's likely. Stephen Thompson also in on the defensive charge for the Temple Wildcats. This may be the last play of the half with 27 seconds left. Waco says, no, sir, we're going to talk it over with a timeout. So they take one, and we will too. We'll be back.
I live alone, and I've come to appreciate having things my own way. One thing I've recently done is complete a pre-arranged funeral plan. Sure, I've got life insurance and a will, but pre-arrangement assures me the protection of my personal beliefs. It's not fair to leave difficult decisions to the family. And besides, it's my right to choose exactly what I want. It's your right, too.
For more information or our free pre-arrangement guide, call Harper Tolasic Funeral Home, the wiser choice.
Welcome back, everyone, with 27 seconds left in this first half of play.
You'd mentioned the defensive effort by the Wildcats. Waco High's tailback Robert Stevens has 73 yards this first half. He has them on 16 attempts, though, at a 4.5-yard per average, well below his 10-yard plus average per carry for this year.
Wildcats really deep in the secondary, trying not to give up the big play.
Obviously in a prevent defense as we have second down and 14. Williams draws back, passes out to his left flat, incomplete. That time for Jesse LeJan, his go-to receiver. And on the play-action pass, Williams has not had a great deal of success in this first half.
No, he hasn't. Again, I think it must be very difficult just to throw the football down there because the wind factor. The second half, it may die down, it may not, but it certainly has been a factor in this football game so far.
22 seconds left in the first half. Wide receivers both left and right. Williams, hands off, up the middle. Stevens has some running room. Going down the right sideline, left sideline. Finally is knocked out of bounds by Tony Lott, and that's not what they wanted to do when you talk about the defensive unit of the Wildcats, because that allows the Waco Lions now to get into Temple territory.
Well,
Temple's, I was just going to say, it's the Temple 43-yard line.
Well, it's not only positive for this half, it's positive for the next half. Waco's building a little bit of momentum with this drive and feeling like they can move the football.
More importantly, there's 13 seconds left in this first half, time enough for maybe one play and even a possible field goal. Prevent defense. Williams drops deep, looks for receiver, straight over the middle, well covered by the defensive secondary. Incomplete.
Well, I think you'll probably look for him to do something very similar again. Cliff takes a shot at the end zone.
Either that or you may see Brian Hawkins, the junior place kicker. He's made 7 of 13 as a sophomore, and he's made 3 field goals successfully so far this season.
Well, if they could get just a little bit closer, right now it'd be about a 60-yard attempt, so that's a bit far, even with this wind, I believe, for them to try anything.
Well, this is Waco's most impressive drive since their opening drive. And, of course, it's coming with less than 2 minutes in the first half here, but a good, sustained drive by the Lions.
7 seconds. Handoff right up the middle to Stevens. And he'll be brought down short by Noah Dunham. And that's it. That's the end of the first half with our score. The Temple Wildcats 14 and the Waco Lions 0. We'll be back for all the halftime activities and more right after this.
It's taken nearly 80 years for the automobile industry to create one of the most frustrating experiences of a lifetime, buying a new car, and only a couple of months for Johnson Brothers Ford to change it. It's gone from an annoying game of wondering what the dealer is really willing to sell the car for, to walking the lot, seeing the discounted prices on the windshield, picking your color and options, and taking it home knowing you got the same great price as your neighbor. It's called one pricing, and it'll change the way you think about buying a new car, and only Johnson Brothers Ford has it.
Cafe on the Square in Georgetown is a very special place. People from all over Central Texas enjoy the unique atmosphere and delicious food. After a hard day, Cafe on the Square is a great place to relax for dinner. Choose from a variety of beautifully prepared entrees, including steak, seafood, and pasta. The Sunday buffet is special at Cafe on the Square. For brunch or Sunday dinner, all your favorite dishes are prepared and served with Cafe's own original charm. Cafe on the Square in Georgetown. There's just no place like it.
King's Daughters Hospital announces something really worth celebrating. It's the Women's Connection, a special program at King's Daughters especially for women. With healthcare services, seminars, classes, support groups, and much more. Even a special information line just for women. The Women's Connection. All kinds of services for all kinds of women. To find out more, call the Women's Connection today.
It's halftime in Temple, Texas, as we see out on the field the Temple Wildcat Band. Under the direction of Leland Chirac, the Temple High School Band is an outstanding unit of young men and women who perform each and every week. This year, the flag captains are Kendra Thurman, Shirley Wallace, Tanya Tennant, Jennifer Hudson. The band officers this year: Jill Jackson, President; Jenny Spikerman, Vice President; Jamia Belmar, Secretary; Thad Latham, Treasurer. Our historian is Ashley Christ, reporter Wendy Adams, and chaplain Chad Martin. The kitten officers this year are Captain Stephanie Westphal, First Lieutenant Tanya Childs, Senior Lieutenant Mindy Hurley, Senior Lieutenant Shelby Ringstaff, Junior Lieutenant Natalie Ball, Junior Lieutenant Christy Caswell. This is an outstanding, award-winning band. The kitten director is Emily Cadell. Color guard director is Wayne Killingthorne. So now let's go down on the field and enjoy this tremendous halftime performance by the Temple Wildcat Band. More second-half action right after this.
King's Daughters Hospital announces something really worth celebrating. It's the Women's Connection, a special program at King's Daughters especially for women. With healthcare services, seminars, classes, support groups, and much more. Even a special information line just for women. The Women's Connection. All kinds of services for all kinds of women. To find out more, call the Women's Connection today.
You know, I've earned the trust of these kids and their parents, and I look to people that I can trust for my will, life insurance, and recently a prearranged funeral program. I chose the people that this community has trusted for years. By planning ahead, my family is protected financially and emotionally. Trust. That's what it's all about.
For more information or our free prearrangement guide, call Harper Kolosik Funeral Home. Harper Kolosik, the wiser choice.
Each week, the First National Bank of Temple, Texas, contributes to and sponsors a Golden Wildcat Award. Now, last week we had a very special recipient. As a matter of fact, we had two very special recipients, and because of a technical difficulty, we were not able to get it on the air. So this week, as promised, we will get that on the air. My very special recipients for the Golden Wildcat Award for last week are Dick and Gloria Jackson. They are the co-presidents of the Temple Wildcat Band Boosters organization, and congratulations to you folks. Tell us a little bit about the Band Boosters.
Well, we support the band in any way that we can, and we chaperone all the functions for the band, and we have lots of fundraisers planned for this year. In fact, one of the fundraisers are these cushions, the stadium seats. They unzip and make a bag. They have a school song on one side, and it says Temple Wildcats on the other, so purchase your seats from the band.
Okay, I want to give you this award, and I'd like for you to just simply read it out loud there.
Presented to Gloria and Dick Jackson on the 9th day of October, 1992, for being recognized as an extraordinary individual within the Temple Independent School District and the City of Temple. This outstanding citizen has contributed extra efforts in the area of personal betterment and has furthermore greatly contributed to the improvement of the educational environment in Temple, Texas.
Gloria, we congratulate you and Dick, and I know we want to talk just briefly about the Band Boosters. You folks meet all year long, and who can join the Band Boosters, and how much is it to join?
Any parent, grandparent, or relative, or even a friend, I guess, to represent any of the band members, and it is $2 per person to join.
Okay, now there's somebody in your family that also is involved in the band, and who would that be?
That's our daughter, Jill. She's a senior, and she's also president of the band this year.
Well, we congratulate you and your husband and all the many others who give so tirelessly of your time, talents, and energies to making a very successful booster club.
Thank you. Everybody should participate. It's really fun.
Gee Willie's now has the most exciting game in Central Texas, QB1, the interactive TV game where you play along during live professional and college football games and can compete for valuable prizes nationally. Large portions of great food and a lively and entertaining atmosphere sure to please the entire family. Gee Willie's, with the largest big-screen TV in Central Texas and the only place you can play along with QB1, the interactive TV game. Gee Willie's, just east of the Mall on the Loop, Temple.
Welcome back, everyone, to Wildcat Stadium in Temple, Texas for the beginning of the second half of action between the Temple Wildcats and the Waco Lions. The Waco Lions will kick off, and the Temple Wildcats will receive the football, and they will go against a very stiff easterly breeze, but it doesn't matter because right now they're going to begin with the football holding a 14-0 lead. And Mark and Gordon, we talked about at the beginning of the football game momentum and capitalizing on mistakes. That's exactly what we've seen so far.
Well, we really have, and I think this is going to be a huge quarter. There's plenty of time left in the football game for Waco High to get back into it. The third quarter is going to tell the tale.
The Cliff first half stats look like this. Temple had 153 total yards, all on the ground. Temple has no pass completions out of 5 attempts. 8.5 yards per carry, however, on the rushing attempts. Waco, 151 total yards. So total yardage very close. Time of possession in Waco's favor by a couple of minutes. First downs very equal, 8 for Temple, 9 for Waco.
Kevin Tico kicks off for the Waco Lions with the wind at his back. He'll take it 2 yards deep into the end zone. As we saw the kickoff return by Dale Williams, who hesitated there momentarily 2 yards deep in the end zone. He brings it back up to about the 19-yard line, so not necessarily a good beginning field position-wise for the Wildcats.
Well, we'll see what kind of adjustments the Waco defense made in the interior to try to stop the off-tackle play Temple was so successful with in the first half.
Waco, of course, trying to cash in on the score twice and failing to do so in the first half. And the Wildcats managing to get 2 touchdowns as we see a quick opener right up the middle by Gerald Watson. And Gerald begins the third quarter just like he left off in the first half before he's brought down by Mitchell Harvey.
Boy, he really did, Cliff. That's 146 yards the first half and 15 more there. Gerald's over the 160-yard mark here at the start of the third quarter.
Picks up a quick first down with the ball now on the 34-yard line. First and 10. This second half just underway. Wide receivers both sides now. Woodson swings out to his right, looks for an open receiver, finds one, hits Scott Maravich right across the middle. And what a nice pass play that time, which will put the ball down at midfield. Mitchell Harvey again doing the tackling chores as the senior Rover brings down.
Well, again, that's that bootleg play, and Scott Marvick was open on that in the first half. In this half, he's able to get the completion. Fine throw by Adrian.
Wide receivers out, both sides this time. Double wide out left. Fullback draw right up the middle. He's got some running room. Had all kinds of daylight as Gerald Watson once again finds the going easy right up the middle, all the way down to the 32-yard line before being dropped by Alter Hughes of Waco.
Well, you don't want your secondary to be making the tackles, and right now I know you've mentioned Michael Harvey's name a number of times already this half, and it's not good when your secondary people are making the tackles.
And Gordon, the Temple Wildcats are starting off just like they left off in the first half.
And there goes Watson.
Watson 1 man away from a score as he's finally brought down at the 20-yard line. Finally down by Mitchell Harvey. And when you have somebody in your backfield like the Rover doing all the tackling, you know you're yielding too much yardage.
Well, that's exactly right, Cliff. And, of course, the hole is just tremendous inside there. And Gerald's doing a great job accelerating through there.
Boy, it really is, but like you said, the offensive line doing an unbelievable job of opening up that off-tackle sprint play.
Watson and Johnson out wide to the right with the handoff to the left. It's going to be a touchdown. Gerald Watson. He dances in from the left side, and boy, oh boy, do the Temple Wildcats cash in quickly in this the second half of play.
Well, John Meldy that time, number 68, pulled and sealed off the inside, and just a beautiful block to spring Gerald Watson up the sideline. Just outstanding play.
So with 10:28 left in this third period of play, the Temple Wildcats up the score now to 20-0 as Danny Magana gets ready to kick the extra point. The kick is up, and it's good. Temple now leading 21-0, and that's not what Coach Johnny Tusa wanted to see happen to his Waco Lions against the wind as Temple takes the opening second half kickoff and marches from their own 18-yard line all the way in for a score.
Well, I was going to give you Gerald Watson's first half stats. I'll go ahead and give them to you, then we'll update them real quick. First half, 12 carries for 146 yards. Now up to date at 16 carries for 211 yards and a 13.2 yard per carry average with 2 touchdowns.
Oh my, what a night that young man is having, and it's partially due to the tremendous blocking by the offensive line. They've done an outstanding job for Temple so far tonight, and it's got to be frustrating for the Waco Lions as they look really crisp and sharp on the first drive of the night, driving 80 yards in for a score, but they have not had, 80 yards but not getting a score, and they've got to be frustrated right now.
Well, they do, but here's a chance for them to make a big play and make an exciting play.
Danny Magana to kick off with Mitchell Harvey back deep along with Stevens. Robert Stevens, Mitchell Harvey both deep. The kick will be taken at about the 2-yard line. Looking for some running room. Finds the wall. Finds a little crease. Excellent run back that time by Stevens before he's finally dropped by Greg Steele at the Waco 31-yard line, 32-yard line. Good return that time.
Excellent return, and of course that just gives you just a glimmer of the kind of excitement they can generate on their return.
So far, the Temple Wildcats have been fairly successful in bottling up the explosive running of Robert Stevens. Jesse LeJan in motion to the left. Handoff right up the middle to Stevens. Brought down by Dana President at about the 35.5-yard line.
Now, I believe Richard Mata was also in there on the tackle.
Temple Wildcats leading here, 10:01 left in the third period by the score of 21-0. They hope to break a 5-year losing streak to the Waco Lions. Williams, quick pass to the left, completed to Charles Mitchell. Quick look in to the left. That time, Williams took 2 steps back with a quick release pass and hit go-to receiver Charles Mitchell. And he picks up about 8 yards on the play, maybe make it 9.
Well, this is exactly what Waco High needs, Cliff, to kind of get things going, get a drive, get a first down, and kind of turn the momentum back around a little bit.
Well, Coach Johnny Sousa certainly wants to get his team into some kind of a rhythm, and that's what he hopes they're in right now. Again, Joe Bishop in motion to the left, handoff up the middle. He may break it. Oh, my goodness, what a fine run that time by Robert Stevens, the leading ball carrier in the district and the #1 runner for the Waco Lions.
Outstanding run, and Derek Bates saved a touchdown that time. He kept him on his inside and was able to get him to cut back to the middle and make the play. Almost a breakaway run that time for Robert Stevens.
122 yards now for Robert Stevens on 19 carries tonight.
First and 10 for the Waco Lions, now in Wildcat territory. Marked the ball at about the 43-yard line. Man in motion to the right. Williams, hands off, straight, up the middle. This time, Press Thomas made the tackle on Robert Stevens. Helped by Jonathan Berry. They will mark the ball at the 35-yard line, where it will bring up the 2nd down and 2 for Waco. An impressive drive here by Temple to start off the second half, and a comeback drive so far that looks very good for the Waco Lions.
They're looking very good on this drive.
Handoff again to Stevens up the middle for short yardage, but it's enough to bring up a first down. That time the call was not to Stevens. In fact, it was to Curly Ward, the fullback. And Ward certainly has the weight behind him. He's a sophomore at 237 pounds.
Cliff, the Wildcats have inserted Joel Amos into the defensive line. Joel played there last year and has predominantly played offense this year, but Joel is a very strong young man and did a great job last year on defense.
They've marked the ball at the 31-yard line, 1st and 10 for Waco. Williams, again the handoff goes to Stevens. He's driving for short yardage over the left side. May have gotten down to about the 29 before he stopped by Jared Mackey, the middle linebacker for Temple.
Well, Mark had mentioned Joel Amos. He played off the block there, too, and was instrumental in tripping Stevens up as he crossed the line of scrimmage.
Second and 8. Wide receiver out to the left and to the right. Williams going to pass to a little look-in. Hits Charles Mitchell. Complete before Tony Lott brings him down. And slowly but surely, the Waco Lions have marched down the field.
Well, they're putting together a fine drive.
First and 10 for Waco on the Wildcat 20-yard line.
Waco needs this into the with the win. They need to make something happen with the win because the fourth quarter things will turn around. So they need to have scored some points during this quarter.
They send LeJan in motion to the left, but there are flags all over the play. There may be a motion penalty against the Waco Lions.
Well, the quarterback, Williams, after going 3 for 13 the first half, was 2 for 2 the second half, and seems to have found his mark.
The score is 21-0 with 6:40 in this third period of play, but the Waco Lions are knocking on the door. Now, this drive began deep in their own territory following a good return of the kickoff by Waco. Again, LeJan in motion to the left. Handoff. This time, the ball carrier is Marvin Mullins. Correction. Aubrey Shaw. And Shaw, who is new to the lineup so far for the Waco Lions tonight, puts the ball on the 24-yard line. So it will be a loss. Now, 2nd and 14.
Well, I look for the Lions to do one of two things here. They're going to either get the ball in Robert Stevens' hands or they're going to put the ball up in the air.
He's going to pass right over the middle. Oh, correct. What a nice pass that time by Everna Williams to Charles Mitchell. Tackled down there by Tony Lott, but it is an excellent pass play that's going to be marked on the 9-yard line of the Temple Wildcats.
Extremely well executed play, well thrown, very good catch by Mitchell. He was hit just as he caught the football by Tony Lott. Just good football all around.
Because Johnny Tissa's Waco Lions are knocking on the door here in midway in the third period. Williams again, hands off, up the middle. Touchdown, Waco Lions by Robert Stevens. An excellent run off the left side.
Beautiful spin move, beautiful spin run that time. He spun off the tackle right into the end zone. Outstanding play. And, of course, this is going to give the Waco Lions some momentum. They were shut out in the first half. This has got to add a little fuel to the fire.
5:19 left in the third period, and Waco has just gotten on the scoreboard. As we see Brian Hawkins preparing to kick the extra point. The kick is up, and it's good. So with our score, the Temple Wildcats 21, the Waco Lions 7. We'll be back for more right after this.
G. Willie's now has the most exciting game in Central Texas. QB1, the interactive TV game where you play along during live professional and college football games and can compete for valuable prizes nationally. Large portions of great food and a lively and entertaining atmosphere sure to please the entire family. G. Willie's, with the largest big screen TV in Central Texas and the only place you can play along with QB1, the interactive TV game. G. Willie's, just east of the Mall on the Loop, Temple.
We're back in the third quarter as the Waco Lions have just scored a touchdown to make the score 21-7.
Cliff, nine play, 68-yard drive, consuming 4 minutes and 53 seconds of the clock in the third quarter.
Well, again, the Waco Lions with 5:19 will be kicking the football off. They'd like to hold Temple, get the ball back, and have one more shot this quarter with the win.
Brian Hawkins prepares to kick off for Waco.
Back deep for the Wildcats will be Damian Johnson, Derek Bates, and Dale Williams.
Gordon, as you said, it was an impressive drive by Waco to put them right back into contention following a quick third quarter touchdown by the Temple Wildcats. Hawkins' kick with the wind will be taken at about the goal line. And a nice run back, but a good defensive effort. Dale Williams, the carrier, and he brings the ball back up to about the 16-yard line. but in fact it was a good job of coverage by the Waco team.
Outstanding job of coverage. Waco's got a little emotion going for them. They've scored, come down hard on the kickoff. Now they'll look for their defense to contain the Wildcats.
Yeah, number 3, Michael Harvey, their big play artist on defense, just made a big play on the kickoff return there.
Receivers out wide, to the right and to the left. Handoff to the left side. Gerald Watson. Brought down that time in part by Charles Foster of Waco. And he picks up maybe 2 on the play. You're right, Mark. It would appear that the Waco Lions are fired up now following that long drive for touchdown. Damian Johnson out wide. To the right. Handoff right up the middle.
Wildcats continue to be able to run a football inside, but Waco is going to set up a third down situation. Big play here for the Lions.
Watson's run that time. Moves the ball up to the 26-yard line. Big third down here for the Temple Wildcats. Third down and a long one, I might add. Looks almost like 2 yards. 2 men out wide to the right. Quick pass, look in. Oh, what a nice pass that time by Adrian Woodson to Greg Watson, not only for the first down, and that's a different look.
Yes, Greg made a great run, almost broke it out of there on a nice little quick pass. Of course, the last drive, Adrian hit Marvick over the middle, so Wildcats starting to be able to throw the football a little bit here in the second half.
Was that a little quick look-in pass?
It's a very quick pass. They saw something that didn't need much yardage, and they thought they could dump it out there and just get the first down.
Double wide receivers to the left. Woodson will hand off to Watson. He's got running room up again the middle. They've been able to successfully penetrate the Waco defensive unit like that all night long. And Watson's run brings the ball up to the 44-yard line.
Well, I think it's outstanding blocking. I think it's outstanding running. But I also think every time Temple's been able to hit a pass or even sometimes just kind of make something happen with a pass, it has opened things up in the middle.
Now, Watson has had an outstanding night so far, Gordon. How many yards has he gotten?
Hold on just a minute. He's a hard man to keep up with here. Just a minute.
He has been a hard man to keep up tonight. Woodson. Quarterback bootleg out to the left. Got a lot of running room. He'll keep the football and take the lick, but he'll pick up a first down. He had the option that time of passing or keeping the football.
Well, it's a great decision by Adrian, but Mark Beards, number 64, the guard pulling on the play, just made an outstanding job of blocking number 4 that time. For Waco, I'll say here, Hughes. He was up there fast to penetrate, and Mark did just a super job of pinning him back in the inside so Adrian could get to the outside.
Cliff, Gerald Watson, Temple's number 32, has 230 yards tonight.
That's an incredible night for that youngster. Watson again gets the football. He'll drive down to about the 45-yard line. And one of the things that you can see clearly, and it has been going on now for 2 full quarters, is the ability of the Temple Wildcats to literally spread the Waco Lions defensive unit all over the field from side to side. And you know that's got to be part of the big game plan Coach Bob McQueen wanted to initiate here tonight.
Well, that's the personality of this offense also, and they do a great job with it.
Trips receiver to the right as he sends Watson in motion to the left. Woodson, quick look-in pass. He's got some running room after he hits Damian Johnson on a little drag route, it would appear to be.
Well, they sent the back out of the backfield in motion that time through a quick slant to number 48, Damian Johnson. But I tell you what, Carmen Turner, the middle linebacker, was coming in there on a blitz, and Adrian just got the football off. But the Wildcats are starting to click here with their passing game.
So both teams this second half have marched up and down the field as Temple has a first down now on the Waco Lions 35-yard line. Trips receivers to the left this time. Woodson, straight back, right over the middle, in and out of the hands of Greg Watson, and Watson was wide open, but he had just taken a wrong move or a spin around and Woodson's pass was just a little bit off.
Well, I believe Greg was trying to go into the middle of the field, and Adrian may have wanted him to hang out to the outside, but he just slightly missed pass, but that was definitely open. I'm sure the Wildcats will come back to that.
1:33 left in this third period of play. Waco trailing 21-7 to the top-ranked Temple Wildcats. Woodson will hand off up the middle to Watson. Fumble on the play. But is it recovered? It looks like Gerald got it back. His own fumble, and he did dodge a bullet that time.
Great play by Gerald. Now, the clock is ticking down with 1:18 left to go in this quarter.
Now, one of the reasons that he fumbled was the hit by Tommy Dean, the junior 175-pound defensive player for the Waco Lions, who did an outstanding job. And that will drop Temple back down into a 3rd and 13 situation with the ball resting on the 37-yard line of Waco. Trips receivers to the left. Woodson, straight drop back. Look, a screen pass to Watson. He's got the football. He's got some blockers. He's brought down at about the 28-yard line.
Well, Gerald is just inside the 30-yard line, and this is going to be interesting to see what Coach McQueen will do here. It'll be 4th down and about 5 or 6. It is 4-down territory normally, so we'll see what Coach McQueen wants to do.
Earlier in a situation like this, Coach Johnny Pissa of Waco elected to go and did successfully convert 2 4th-down situations. And now the Temple Wildcats are going to take a timeout and talk it over. And while they do, let's pause for this. We'll be back.
It's taken nearly 80 years for the automobile industry to create one of the most frustrating experiences of a lifetime, buying a new car, and only a couple of months for Johnson Brothers Ford to change it. It's gone from an annoying game of wondering what the dealer is really willing to sell the car for, to walking the lot, seeing the discounted prices on the windshield, picking your color and options, and taking it home knowing you got the same great price as your neighbor. It's called one pricing, and it'll change the way you think about buying a new car, and only Johnson Brothers Ford has it.
Welcome back to Wildcat Stadium, everyone. Cliff Brown, Mark Jermstead, Gordon Marshall here with you as the Temple Wildcats, rated #1 in the state in Class 5A and undefeated in 5 outings, are looking for win number 6 over a tough Waco Lion team. Right now, the Wildcats lead 21-7.
You'll notice on the back of the helmets the white stars that they get, and they get those for big plays either defensively or offensively all through the season. And now it's the 6th ball game, so you see more and more of that white covering that blue Wildcat helmet. And Coach McQueen's certainly looking for a big play right here with 4th down.
It remains to be seen whether he's going to go for it, but all the appearances are, yes, sir, it does appear they will go for the 1st down. 4th down and 5, the ball resting on the 29-yard line of Waco. They send 3 receivers out wide to the right as Woodson takes the count. He will spin out on bootleg to his left. He's got a man open, and it's going to be picked off and run out of bounds. Great job that time by Tony Dean, who picked off Woodson's pass, and that's only the 2nd interception for the season by Adrian Woodson, both of them coming at the hands of the Waco Lions.
Great hands by number 40, Tommy Dean, that time, intercepting the pass. And, of course, Adrian very alertly knocked him out of bounds because he had the sideline, Cliff. If Adrian doesn't make that play, it could be 6 points.
So the Waco Lions have apparently bit a bullet.
You might look for just a deep ball here. It's 4 seconds left. This will be their last chance with a win.
Instead, they hand it to Stevens, who's looking for running room along the left side. Michael Moffitt brings him down, and that will probably, yes, sir, it does. That closes out the 3rd period of play. So the Temple Wildcats lead the Waco Lions by a score of 21-7. We'll be back for the 3rd and final quarter right after this.
Cafe on the Square in Georgetown is a very special place. People from all over Central Texas enjoy the unique atmosphere and delicious food. After a hard day, Cafe on the Square is a great place to relax for dinner. Choose from a variety of beautifully prepared entrees, including steak, seafood, and pasta. The Sunday buffet is special at Cafe on the Square. For brunch or Sunday dinner, all your favorite dishes are prepared and served with Cafe's own original charm. Cafe on the Square in Georgetown. There's just no place like it.
Well, if you like high school football, Temple, Texas is the place to be tonight as the number 1 rated Wildcats are holding on to a 21-7 lead over the Waco Lions. But right now, Waco has the football on their own 30-yard line following an interception of Adrian Woodson's pass by Waco Lions Tommy Dean.
Gordon, how many yards did the Lions have on that last drive on passing? Because with this wind in their face, they may not be quite as effective throwing a football.
Well, they were very effective in the last drive. They had 3 completions for 28 yards. Out of the 68 total yards in that last drive.
So we'll see what kind of impact it has when the Lions head into the wind. They also, of course, were very effective running the football, so the Wildcat defense is going to have to meet the challenge because certainly from an emotional standpoint, Waco has a lot going for it right now.
The Lions led by quarterback Elverna Williams, the junior 183-pound speedster. As they break out of the huddle, they'll send Charles Mitchell out wide to the right. Williams will drop straight back and throw to Mitchell. Complete. 1-on-1. He gets it by one man. It's a foot race and brought down at the 50 by Greg Steele.
Outstanding play.
Great play by Williams to Mitchell.
Save a touchdown. Greg Steele. Of course, the Wildcat defensive philosophy is bend but don't break and make them work all the way down the field. And so there was a case where Waco almost got a quick, long-range score, which is exactly what the Wildcats do not want to have happen in this situation.
Mark the ball at the 48-yard line of Waco. They have it. 1st and 10. Still anybody's ball game. Williams drops back. Hands off to Stevens. He's got some running room down the left side. It's a foot race. Finally drug out of bounds by Derek Bates. And oh my, Robert Stevens, the main runner for the Waco Lions, was headed toward pay dirt as Waco shows no disposition to roll over and play dead here in this final period.
Oh, absolutely none, Cliff. Outstanding run. Great play by Derek Bates, saving a touchdown again. But Waco's getting some momentum. And that passing game is opening up the running game. There was a nice hole in there that time for Stevens.
They marked the ball at the 26-yard line of the Temple Wildcats. Elverna Williams, the quarterback, hands off the fullback, Curly Ward. And Curly is not going to get very much yardage before he's stacked up in there by a defensive unit led by Mark Churchwell. Also in on the play was Michael Moffitt. He may have picked up a half a yard. They still mark it as 2nd down and 10.
Well, I'd say both these squads right now are into this game emotionally. There's a lot of intensity down there on the football field right now.
A lot at stake riding on this game tonight. Man in motion to the left side. Handoff. Run. Stevens. Hit. Spins off one man. Spins off another. Finally brought down by Greg Steele. Outstanding run by Robert Stevens, the senior 185-pound running back for the Waco Lions.
Well, you see some backs with that ability to spin, and he just made a tremendous move to get to the outside.
That will give Waco a 1st and 10. An impressive drive here following the interception as they mark the ball at the 16-yard line. And the officials have called a timeout. And while they have a timeout down on the field, fellas, let's talk about ebb and flow of football games. Here's a prime example of the Waco team bouncing back after an initial touchdown by the Temple Wildcats to open up the second half of play.
Well, a team goal coming out the second half is to take the ball and drive it and length the field and score a touchdown, which, like you said, is exactly what Temple's done. However, in a remarkable turnaround, Waco did the same thing and answered that drive with a touchdown drive of their own, and now a turnover later, and they're right back down on the goal line. Hats off to Coach Peace and the Waco High Lions for a remarkable turnaround after trailing 21-0.
An interesting scenario. Had Temple gone ahead and scored, they would have led 28-7, and you can play what if all you want to, but that certainly would have given them the cushion that they need. Instead, the fortunes of football put the pass interception into the hands of the Waco Lions, and now they have done an excellent job of driving down, and they can close the gap to within a touchdown should they go in for a score here as they knock on the door at the 15-yard line of Coach McQueen's team.
Waco's Robert Stevens, has 187 yards tonight rushing.
So two running backs on each side have had excellent nights as we see a handoff again to Stevens, and he's continuing to drive, and he takes about 3 Temple Wildcats with him. Finally, Press Thomas and Greg Steele bring him down. What a fine second effort by that hard-charging halfback. And they'll mark the ball at the 4-yard line. Tremendous run.
Well, it was, and Waco appears to be getting stronger and stronger running the football as the game goes on. That's a large veteran offensive line for the Waco Lions, doing a great job.
So suddenly, this ball game is beginning to tighten up here. First down for the for the Waco Lions. 4 yards away from a touchdown. Stevens carries, touchdown. No, sir. We thought that the official had given the indication of a touchdown, and he was stretching mightily, and he stretched his hands out, but it didn't quite work.
No, it is going to be very, very close to the goal line. The Wildcats, of course, would like for them, even if they score, to take as many plays as possible to take some time off this clock.
Ball at about the 6-inch yard mark. And a quarterback sneak by Elverna Williams. And is he going to get it? The referee says no, sir. Close, but no cigars.
Well, the Wildcats are making them work for the touchdown, and that's extremely important, Cliff. Emotionally as well as time-wise, the clock now will probably go under 9 minutes.
Now, if you were a riverboat gambler right now, you would probably bet the farm and your mortgage that Robert Stevens would get the football on this next play.
I think that's a pretty good guess, Cliff.
8:55 left in this football game. The score, 21-7, with Waco knocking on the door. This time, a handoff to Mitchell Harvey, and Mitchell Harvey gets the score. No correction, that was Curly Ward. Curly Ward, the fullback, the sophomore, 237 pounds, goes in for the Waco Lions. And oh my goodness, does the tension begin to creep up a notch. Waco comes within 8 points of tying Temple.
Great drive into the wind, and of course, outstanding play by Ward. Ward was hit about 1.5 yards deep in the backfield and just would not be denied. An outstanding run.
Brian Hawkins will try to narrow the margin even more with his extra point kick, and he splits the upright. So with 8:44 left in this football game, the Waco Lions have come roaring back and now trail 21-14. More exciting football action right after this.
What can you do with $20? Take it to your Central Texas GMC truck dealers in Temple and Killeen, and you'll be amazed what $20 can do. Just combine your $20 with the factory rebate available on new Jimmys, Sonomas, or GMC vans. With the rebate assigned to dealer, your down payment is only $20. So come to Jim Tranum in Temple or Cleo Bay in Killeen. But hurry, see what $20 can do at your Central Texas GMC truck dealer.
Well, you may need some nerve medicine before this football game is over with, as the Temple Wildcats are holding on to a 21-14 lead over the Waco Lions following Waco's latest touchdown run from about a yard out. As we see Brian Hawkins ready to kick off to the Wildcats, there's still a lot of time left in this contest, and I do not think that Coach Bob McQueen believes that he can probably eat up the clock, but he certainly would like to go in for a score. This will be a very critical series, fellas.
Oh, you're absolutely right, Cliff. You know, so many times this year we have said that it's important for the offense to answer what just happened by the Waco Lions offense, and I think that's true this time. The Wildcats are going to have to respond with at least some first downs here to get this momentum back.
They'll be kicking into the wind, but he gets his toe into it. It'll be taken at about the 2-yard line. Damian Johnson running. The quickness of Damian Johnson brings the ball all the way up to about the 28-yard line. Excellent return.
Fine return, great decision, almost popped it out right for a touchdown. Of course, the Wildcats right now, that fine offensive line is going to have to take control of this football game.
Damian Johnson possesses outstanding acceleration. He did the chore that time. So the Wildcats now, with receivers split out on both sides, will have an opportunity to see what they can do as they hand the football off. Oh, my goodness, there's a wide open hole, but there's a fumble on the play. Oh, and after a tremendous run by Greg Watson, he coughed up the football at the Waco 47-yard line.
Well, it was a great play, great run, and Waco got the football back. That's exactly what the Lions wanted, needed. They got great field position, too. So the Wildcat defense has got to answer this challenge.
And the Waco crowd, which has been mostly silent for a great deal of this football contest, suddenly comes alive as their team has the football just about at midfield. Elverna Williams, the quarterback, drops back to pass. He'll hit Mitchell. Mitchell drops the football. Again, they've run that play all night long very successfully, I might add.
Great timing by Waco High on that play. Of course, this will bring up a second and long situation.
Let's talk about the previous play. Watson appeared headed for big yardage, and just as he was brought down, he coughed up the football.
Well, that's Temple's third turnover tonight, and comes at an inopportune time. Adds to Waco's momentum here.
Again, Williams will hand it off to Stevens, who's going off the right side, one-on-one. Stevens gets first down and then some as he crosses into territory owned by the Temple Wildcats at the 37. Nice run that time by Robert Stevens, the outstanding running back for the Waco Lions.
He's doing a great job, and like I said before, he is really running hard. He appears to be getting stronger as the game goes on.
8:08 left in this football contest, 21-14. Waco trailing, but they're knocking on the door following another turnover by the Temple Wildcats. Jesse LeJean in motion to the left. They'll hand off to Stevens up the middle. He'll get nowhere. Sacked up and stopped by Press Thomas and Dante Martin, Jared Mackey, and a whole host of other players for the Temple Wildcats defensive unit.
I believe Dante Martin hit him right away, right off the bat, and really laid a lick on him.
They'll mark the ball at the 36-yard line of Temple. Second down, 10 to go. Again, he sends receivers out wide to both sides. Williams, quick look in. Incomplete.
Well, I tell you what, Cliff, they've run that play so much, you got to believe that sooner or later they're going to throw a stop and go and send a man deep.
Again, the intended receiver was Charles Mitchell, but to the left this time. So that'll bring up a third down and 10.
I'm sure they'll try to get the ball into Robert Stevens' hands, try to make a big play. This is very close to 4-down territory for the Lions.
Big third down situation here for Waco. Williams will drop back. He hands off to Stevens again, but he's not going to get anywhere because Michael Moffitt absolutely would not let him get uncranked. And they'll put it down on the 35-yard line where it will be 4th down in about 6. So a big 3rd down effort by Waco falls short. And it's going to be longer than 4th and 6. It's going to be about 4th and 7.5.
You might look for that stop route again. Temple's playing a base defense, and they've gone to it numerous times tonight.
They're going to go for it on 4th down. They've done it before successfully. Williams swings out to his left. He's going to try it on a keeper, and he's going to get knocked out of bounds, and he will not get the 1st down as Greg Steele makes him run laterally, and that is a big, big change of possession there.
Well, it was a good gamble by Coach Tusser, though, because they have the ball. They gave up the ball on the 32-yard line, and there's 6 minutes left to go in the ball game. So I'm sure he felt like if he went for it, he'd get at least 2 shots at it. If they can hold the Wildcats here, he'd have had that shot and then at least 1 more shot coming back at him.
Temple will now take over from their own 32-yard line. They've got 2 receivers out wide to the right, 1 wide to the left. Adrian Woodson, the man under for the Temple Wildcats. And he'll hand off to Gerald Watson, who's got all kinds of running room again. And Watson this time does not cough up the football, but what a tremendous hit by Shelby Lee for Waco to bring him down. But not before Watson's run brings him up to the 43-yard line of the Waco Lions.
I believe this ball game right now is going to be very much played in the interior of the line between Temple's offensive line and Waco High's interior unit.
These 2 outstanding football teams are giving it all they got in this District 13 5A opener. Woodson hands off to Watson. He coughs up the football again. There's a scramble for it, and Waco indicates that they have it. Again, Watson coughs up the football, and referees are indicating that that's the situation. No, now they're trying to unpile it now to see who's got the ball. Big tug-of-war down there at about the 30-yard line. This is a pattern that we've seen twice before. Watson. We don't know what the discussion is down there, but he brings about half of the coaching staff out to the center of the field. The referees are trying to straighten it all out and explain it all out.
Well, I believe in any scenario it's going to be Waco High's football, and that's exactly what they needed. So they don't have quite as good a field position as they had on that last turnover.
And the momentum has certainly gone like the pendulum of a clock, back and forth. Waco winds up with the football on their own 30-yard line. 5:47 left in this contest.
Well, Waco has so much speed and ability, they put an awful lot of pressure on the defense.
Williams on a keeper. He'll be pulled down. He's pulled down from behind by Stephen Thompson, the 190-pound senior who did an outstanding job that time.
I believe we have a flag here.
And tensions are certainly running high on both sides of the line of scrimmage. It is very unusual to see the kind of turnovers committed by Temple that we have seen tonight. It's an indication that both teams are hitting hard out there.
I think they're trying to get control of the game because emotions are running real high right now, and the players, you know, are fighting awful hard for their towns and their school, and the officials are trying to step in and say, hey, guys, let's play football.
And now they're talking to both team captains. They pull them off to the side, and the referees are talking to them. I'm sure what they're telling them is to say, fellas, let's settle down, let's play football, and let's get control of our teams.
Well, there's awful lot of pride on both sides of the ball. This is a big game for both communities and schools.
So they're going to have offsetting penalties, and the ball will be marked at the 30-yard line, where apparently it will be 1st and 10. 5:33 and counting down. Temple leading 21-14. Waco 70 yards away from the tying score. Williams will hand off to Stevens. He's got no running room as he flips to make a cut. That time a good job by the defensive effort of Prez Thomas, who's had a big night for Temple.
Well, coming into this game, Priest was a leading assist man. He had over 30 assist tackles, and he's done a great job this evening.
Big third down now for Coach Johnny Tusa's Waco Lions. Receivers out wide to the left this time, but he swings out to the right. He's looking back across the middle to his left. Lots of territory, and on a deflected pass, it went incomplete, but it was almost deflected for a completion at about the 45. Charles Mitchell, the intended receiver.
Well, I don't know that Charles was the intended receiver, but he almost caught the ricochet there.
Yes, you're right. I'm wrong. I thought because he's been going to Mitchell so often tonight, we almost assumed that he would, as we see Derek Bates coming out.
Well, the Wildcats defense holds here, Cliff. Big play. And the Wildcats need to just secure the punt, make sure they catch the football. That's the most important thing right now with 4:39 left in the ball game.
Kevin Dekel, the punter, will get some pressure on him, and he gets it up high. Good hang time. Picked up by Adrian Johnson, who's swinging to his left, and he's not going to get anywhere. Damian Johnson. Damian swung to his left and did not get the kind of running room he needs. Nevertheless, the Temple Wildcats have held and will take over now on their own 26-yard line. Now, if you're Coach Bob McQueen, you've got to be wondering if you're going to let any of your backs hold the football without super glue, because that's what hurts them and puts them in precarious positions most of this third and fourth quarter.
Well, they've suffered 2 fumbles the last 2 drives. They've not punted this half. The turnover bug has been upon them the last 2 possessions, though.
Trips receivers to the right this time. Handoff again off the right side. Delarius Wilson in now at fullback.
Well, Delarius is fresh. He hasn't played all that much this evening. He was effective when he played. So the Wildcats coming in with a little different kind of combination.
Delarius, who had a big night last week against Tyler Lee, nursing somewhat of a shoulder injury, not a serious injury, but I'm sure Coach Bob McQueen was pleased with his replacement, Gerald Watson, who's had a tremendous night. But now we have a 2nd and 7 situation. Again, 2 receivers out to the left. Handoff again.
Great pursuit, gang tackling by Waco that time.
Delarius Wilson trying to find some running room, but Tommy Dean would have no part of it for Waco. He does manage to drive up to the 31, where it will bring up a 3rd down and make it about 7. And this is a big 3rd down for the Temple Wildcats.
It is a huge 3rd down for the Temple Wildcats.
The clock is a big factor now, with it counting down at 3:12 left in this football contest. Again, the Wildcats trying to snap a 5-year losing streak to the Waco Lions. Woodson swings out on a bootleg to his left, has a man open. Hits Damian Johnson for a 1st down. Oh, what a sweet play that time from Adrian Woodson, the quarterback, to Damian Johnson on a bootleg swing out to the left.
What a time to have a great throw and a great catch, and just a super job that time by John Meldy cutting the end down, giving Adrian a chance to throw the football. It's outstanding execution in a very critical situation.
So Coach Bob McQueen's team does not elect to play it conservatively. They elect to go for it in the air, as we see receivers again out on both sides. Woodson checking off at the line of scrimmage, taking his time. Quick snap, hands off. And they had hoped, and another fumble. And it looked like Waco's got the football. Yes, sir. Oh, my goodness. Just when it looked as though the Temple Wildcats were going to have control of the situation, they cough up the football one more time. This time, This time the football was pounced on by Howard Dudley, the 215-pound defensive junior. So just as suddenly as the fortunes were smiling on Temple, they are now raining on their parade. Waco has the football on the Temple 40-yard line. 1st and 10. 2:27 left in this contest.
Well, the Waco Lions defense has done a great job of producing some turnovers.
And as the officials take a timeout, we will too. We'll be back. Okay, how many turnovers this time? Okay, let's talk about that when we come back. Welcome back, everyone. It's 2:27. With 2:27 left in this football contest, another costly turnover by the Temple Wildcats, and it remains to be seen whether it's going to cost them on the scoreboard. Gordon?
Wildcats have been real fortunate up to now. That's turnover number 5. 3 fumbles and 2 interceptions. But this one puts Waco in business and Temple's into the field, and we'll see if the defense can come up with another big play for the Wildcats. The Lions looking to score here and tie this one up and possibly go for 2 in the win.
An interesting scenario, and unusual for the Temple Wildcats, who have not had a great many turnovers this season so far. They seem to have been attacked by a case of fumbleitis. And here come the Waco Lions as they have receivers out on both sides. Quick pitch to Stevens. Stevens running hard, and he'll pick up about 8 yards before he's brought down. And Robert Stevens has had an outstanding night for the Waco Lions, as has Gerald Watson for the Wildcats.
Cliff, indeed he has. That's 215 yards now rushing for Waco's number 24, Robert Stevens.
Very unusual that you have 2 backs on each side of the line of scrimmage, and the opposing team rush for over 200 yards. A man in motion to the left. Williams on a long count. Hands off again to Stevens, who's going to try for the first down, but I don't believe he's going to be able to make it.
No, he didn't, Cliff, and I think with about 1 minute and 38 seconds left to go, you're going to see the football in Robert Stevens' hands probably most of the way from here on out.
This is a very interesting scenario, and you can play what if all day if you wanted to, but if the Waco Lions score a touchdown, undoubtedly they'll go for the 2 for the win because they trail in penetration. Again, a man in motion to the left. Handoff to Stevens, and he's not going to get the first down. It's going to be awfully close, but he's going to come up just shy of the first down. Noah Dunham put perhaps the key tackle of the game on Robert Stevens to prevent that first down from being accomplished. And Waco's going to take a timeout to talk it over. Now, this is very, very interesting. 4th down, 1 to go. It's a very short one, I might add. And this is critical to the drive by the Waco Lions.
Well, I would imagine there's a lot of people in this stadium with sweaty palms right now. 53 seconds left to go in the ball game. 4th down, 1. Obviously, this is a huge play for both teams.
Well, you can see one thing is for certain. Nobody has left the stadium. At this point in time in a ball game, usually people are trailing out. Not a single person appears to have left, and the stands, of course, are packed on both sides. Temple desperately hoping to stop the Waco Lions in their drive. 53 ticks on the clock in this football game. 21-14, Temple leads. Trying to hold on to that lead and to ensure victory number 6. And that victory looks like it's in a very precarious position right now. It's nail-biting time in Wildcat Stadium. And all the blue and white fans are cheering their defensive unit on as Waco is most assuredly going to go for it on 4th and 1. A pitch out to Stevens. Stevens going to get hit, and his second effort got him the first down. He was hit solidly first by Wildcat Noah Dunham, but second effort got Stevens the first down. Now, Noah Dunham is down on the field, shaken up on the play.
He is, Cliff. That's just a tremendous run by Stevens. Great second effort because he was hit before he had the first down.
The ball is on the 28-yard line of Temple. The score, 21-14. Your time is 47 seconds in this football contest, and Waco has a 1st and 10.
47 seconds. I believe they got 2 timeouts left. Is that right, Gordon?
Yeah, that's right. That's correct. 2 timeouts left and 47 seconds left.
Let's allude back to the 2 running backs. It is most unusual and quite rare to have 2 running backs have 200-plus yards in any game, much less in the same contest from opposite sides. Williams will swing out to his left. He's going to pass. He's being rushed under a lot of pressure, and he's going to scramble, and he's finally run out of bounds by Greg Steele. He couldn't find a receiver. He was looking for Charles Mitchell, but Mitchell was well covered back in the backfield. So, no gain on the play. Maybe a loss of perhaps 2 yards. Yes, they're going to mark it at the 31-yard line.
31 seconds left to go in the ball game, so Waco's going to have to try to put the ball up, get it downfield.
I would imagine the strategy would be to try to spread the defense out in the threat of a pass to Mitchell and let the ball go to Robert Stevens on a carry. He's swinging back, 1-on-1. Did he make it? Yes, completed to Charles Mitchell on a tremendous pass from Elverna Williams, the quarterback, all the way down to the 1-yard line. What a clutch pass play by the Waco Lions in the midnight hour with 23 seconds left.
Just a beautiful throw that time by Williams and a great catch.
And now this is going to be really, really interesting as this ball game has just gone down to the wire. And Waco takes a timeout to talk it over. And boy, I'll tell you one thing, if tensions weren't already high, they are stretched to the limit here tonight. The Temple Wildcats trying to hang on to that 21-14 lead. It will be very interesting because it's going to be a 1st and goal from a yard out, so they've got plenty of downs to do it in. They've got 23 seconds to cash in for a touchdown, and then the critical extra point move. Will they go for 2? Will they go for the tie? And you can better believe that Coach Johnny Tusa is going to go for that win should they score. Now, that's not necessarily a given here because the Temple defense is going to put every effort into stopping that touchdown. Tight formation now, a sneak play, and he's not going to get it.
I think that's a fumble, Cliff.
Maybe a fumble on the play.
That's a fumble.
But I don't believe so. I think probably Williams, are they going to give it to the Temple Wildcats?
That is a fumble.
They say Williams fumbled the football.
No.
But the referee overrules the other officials and says, no, sir, the ball goes back to the Waco Lions.
Well, Waco's going to have to stop the clock with a timeout. There's not but 14 seconds left, and when the referee gets it set, they're going to call timeout.
Waco calls the timeout, and so will we. We'll be right back.
G. Willie's now has the most exciting game in Central Texas. QB1, the interactive TV game where you play along during live professional and college football games and can compete for valuable prizes nationally. Large portions of great food and a lively and entertaining atmosphere sure to please the entire family. G. Willie's, with the largest big-screen TV in Central Texas and the only place you can play along with QB1, the interactive TV game. G. Willie's, just east of the mall on the loop, Temple.
on the play. And we will have to see whether the Waco Lions jumped off or whether, in fact, Temple is indicating that they... Yes, sir. Temple is indicating that they were in the right, and that's exactly what will happen. Now, this is a tremendous play here because it's going to mark the ball back. That could or could not be in favor of the Waco Lions. It's going to give them some running room, I can tell you that much. 13 seconds left in the contest.
Well, Cliff, you know, they almost have to throw the football because they may not get another playoff. If they run the football, they have to score. They're out of timeout.
Well, you can better believe that Robert Stevens is going to be one of the primary receivers. Okay, the ball is intentionally down by quarterback Ilverna Williams to stop the clock at 10. He's going to walk over to the sideline and talk it over with his head coach, Johnny Tusa. It's been that kind of football game. About the worst thing that you can say about these two teams is that they refuse to give up right down to the wire.
Oh, it's been an outstanding football contest. Great fighting on both sides by both teams.
Both teams have really given it their all. I'll tell you what, turnovers have really absolutely crippled the Temple Wildcats, and it remains to be seen whether they will dodge a bullet. Williams, a swing pass, one-on-one, and he's going to go. Robert Stevens is going to go down to 1-0. That's it. That's the end of the football game as the Temple Wildcats dodge a bullet on a pass play from Williams to Robert Stevens, but the clock ran down, and the Temple Wildcats do it again. This time by the hair of their chinny chin as they take a 21-14 victory over the Waco Lions to remain unbeaten and untied. We'll be back to wrap it all up right after this.
King's Daughters Hospital announces something really worth celebrating. It's the Women's Connection, a special program at King's Daughters especially for women. With healthcare services, seminars, classes, support groups, and much more. Even a special information line just for women. The Women's Connection. All kinds of services for all kinds of women. To find out more, call the Women's Connection today.
It's taken nearly 80 years for the automobile industry to create one of the most frustrating experiences of a lifetime, buying a new car, and only a couple of months for Johnson Brothers Ford to change it. It's gone from an annoying game of wondering what the dealer is really willing to sell the car for, to walking the lot, seeing the discounted prices on the windshield, picking your color and options, and taking it home knowing you got the same great price as your neighbor. It's called one pricing, and it'll change the way you think about buying a new car, and only Johnson Brothers Ford has it.
Well, the Temple Wildcats recorded victory number 6 and will probably remain number 1 in the state as they beat the Waco Lions 21-14. But oh my, what a close game this was as it went right down to the final second. And Gordon, when we talk about turnovers, you've got to look at the problems that the Wildcats had, and it nearly cost them tonight.
Well, to turn the ball over 5 times, 3 fumbles and 2 interceptions, against a quality opponent like Waco High. Waco High did have 1 turnover, 1 fumble. And to still come out on top, your hats have got to go off to the Wildcat defense tonight. What an outstanding effort, coming up with a big play when they had to, and especially down there the last play of the game.
It would be a little bit deceiving, Mark, to say that the offense didn't do a good job. They did do an outstanding job tonight, but they had fumble problems. But still, you had some backs that had an outstanding bit of rushing.
Oh, I think the offense had an outstanding game in many respects. I think the offensive line did just a super job. Great running performance by Gerald Watson. Did a great job coming in, playing for Delarious this evening. And so overall, the offense did very well. But in these critical games, protecting the football is a high priority. And I think for the remainder of the season, next week, certainly against Killeen, protecting the football will be a key priority Coach McQueen will work on this week.
Okay, now, Gordon, we talk about special teams, and the special teams, especially the kicking game, really did help the Temple Wildcats tonight.
Well, Danny Magana is the only one that didn't know the wind was blowing out here. He kicked the ball in the end zone just about every time, eliminating that threat of the Waco Lions double return people. They have outstanding return people, and they, in essence, negated that factor of tonight's game.
Okay, now, they also snapped a 5-game losing streak, and that's got to be very good news for Temple Wildcat fans.
Well, it really is, and that's that intangible mountain they had to overcome tonight, and they did it. And, you know, with 5 turnovers and against just one, it was a big mountain to overcome. But, boy, the hats off to the Wildcats on a fantastic effort tonight against a very good football team.
Mark, no rest for the weary. Next week, it's the Killeen Kangaroos, the defending state champions in Class 5A, and you can better believe that the Roos will certainly be ready for the Wildcats.
Well, that's absolutely right. And, of course, the Killeen Kangaroos are the defending state champions, and Temple has just got through a 6-game schedule where they've played playoff teams every week. So this is not going to get any easier. Killeen is playing extremely well. It'll be at Killeen. Killeen loves to play in that stadium, and I think it's going to be an outstanding game.
Well, once again, our final score, the Temple Wildcats 21, the Waco Lions 14, as they chalk up victory number 6. This is Cliff Brown on behalf of Gordon Marshall, Mark Germstead, and all the crew at Laura Communications. We'll see you next week. So long, everybody.